complement of the gentleman, the analyst right here in the studio, starting with the reliable radio spokesman, the classical gentleman. His name is Reliable Reliance Udoehi. Reliance, good afternoon to you, and you're welcome to today's Sports Live.
I'm glad you still remember your favorite Milanese sport presenter. At a point, it felt like you've forgotten it. I don't want to use it anymore. But it gives me great joy to know that you still remember, because I have a connection to melanin. You know what that means, right? It's great to be here. I mean, what a way to come back for Monaco, Victor against PSG. And that match, they didn't have most of their big boys. They just had small, but I think they fielded in about 8 under 23 players in that match because of, COVID cases and all that. But they were able to mastermind that 3 goals comeback against the big boys PSG. Much thanks to the former Chelsea player,
Serge Fabregas.
Great to be here. Good afternoon to everyone.
All right. The OVA of sports, Nathaniel Igere, is also here in the studio.
Good afternoon, Victor. Good afternoon, Reliance, and good afternoon, Port Harcourt. Good afternoon, sport fans all over the world. And I tell you, it's been a great week, and I'm so happy that club football is back. And right there in England, we'll be seeing 2 grandmasters that have been well decorated with trophies, going to square up head to head to the person of Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola later on today and at the Premier League. So it's great to be here. It's nice to talk football.
All right. They're not going to be talking alone. You are also going to be a part of the conversation. We do this show for you. Yes, you listening right there in your car or at home, wherever you are. We are in the studio talking football just for you. And we want you to also be a part of the conversation. You can do that by simply hitting us via our text or WhatsApp portal. You can send in your text messages or your WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962. I take it again. You can send in your text or WhatsApp messages to the number 0701 933 9962. That number is restricted for messages only. Later on, we'll be throwing open the phone line so you can call in and air your views. But if you are a social media person, yes, you can also tweet at us. We are at Today FM 951, at Today FM 951. But do well to copy me. My handle is at Victor Oriahi. At Victor Oriahi. Oriahi is my surname, and it's spelled Oriahi. No space, no underscore, just Victor Oriahi. And you can also copy Reliance. His handle is at Reliable Rely. And of course, we will be reading your tweets live on the show. Don't go anywhere. We begin proper when we come back. Of course, it's Today Sports Live. Let's get started from that game between Newcastle United and Chelsea. We'll be giving you the lineup shortly. But before we do that, let's hear from Frank Lampard. He's the manager of Chelsea as he's speaking. Speaking about the condition of
the season, which I think we were frustrated with, but I think we're looking back maybe par for the course in terms of where we were as a team, new players, some injuries, and at the moment we're improving. Some of that is the work, some of that is down to individuals who you'll always rely on players to make the difference. And I think every player that's come in has made a difference to a degree, and that's real positives for them, because that's not easy, particularly if you're coming from foreign leagues. So they'll only get better, I hope, from here. It feels like that at the moment. The group feels strong, and that's not easy with a big squad, because I understand as much as any of them, because I was a player, that when you're not playing regularly, you work all week or in a preparation for a game and you can't start and you're on the bench. It's a big ask from me to make everybody be very positive every day of the week and support the group. But at the moment, I think when we feel like we're working in a good direction.
Well, you heard from the man. He is Frank Lampard speaking about the team. But let's give you the lineup for Newcastle United. Darlow starts in goal. Mankilo, Fernandez, Lascelles, Clark, Lewis, Murphy, Isaac Hayden, Sean Longstaff, and Alan St. Maximin, as well as Joelinton, make up the 11-man that will be doing the business for Newcastle United at St. James Park. On the bench for the team is Shaw, Caro, Jonjo Shelvey, Jeff Hendrick, Kraft, Almiron, and Giuseppe. While for Chelsea, the usual suspect, Edward Mendy starts in goal. The defense sees Rhys James, Kurt Zuma, Antonio Rudiger making a return to the Chelsea starting 11, and Ben Chilwell. While the two defensive midfield pairing would be Kovacic and Kante. Mason Mount, Hakim Ziyech, Tammy Abraham would be playing alongside Timo Werner. On the bench for Chelsea is Kepa Arrizabalaga, Andres Christensen, Jorginho, Olivier Giroud, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Cesar Azpilicueta, and Emerson. The referee would be Craig Pawson, and we will be keeping proceedings or keeping our eyes on that game to see how it unfolds. The match will start in 13 minutes time. By 1:30 p.m., both teams will be taking on to the pitch, so we'll be giving you the updates as per that. Reliance. Let's start with this match involving Newcastle United and Chelsea. If Chelsea wins, they will become the 7th different club to top the Premier League this season, after Arsenal, Everton, Leicester, Liverpool, Southampton, and Spurs. Do you think it's going to be 7th heaven for Frank Lampard's men?
Amazing. Remember who said that in 2016? Can't remember.
Yeah.
Leicester City manager Claudio Ranieri, after they won the English Premier League, and they were to play in the Champions League, and he was interviewed, so it was like amazing. Well, amazing because having 7 different, of course, if Chelsea wins their match today, become the 7th club to top the English Premier League this season. It's just quite amazing, and again, it entails how competitive the English Premier League is or has been for this season. Even though some have found a way to call it a 2-horse race, which I strongly disagree. But you always expect, competition in the English Premier League, and that is what it serves you every time. And of course, this season again, you could understand that there have been so many ups and downs for so many clubs, and that results in them not dominating the usual way they used to dominate. Some seasons we do see a club running up to 8, 9, 10 matches unbeaten streak, but the highest we've seen so far this season has been Everton, who were able to mastermind 4 matches unbeaten under the manager Carlo Ancelotti until that 100% record was brought to nothing later on. And right now they're trying to find their way back. And then you look at Liverpool, the usual suspect to have maintained dominance at the top of the table this season, struggling with injuries and all that. Didn't start the season quite brilliantly. Maybe it has been a trademark or a hallmark for Liverpool not to begin the season with so much brilliance. but slow starters maybe, because I could recall last season their first match against Norwich City, they played 2-1 in that one, if my memory serves me well. And then, okay, I don't think it was 2-1. I think it was 4-2 rather. Then this season again, this United with Marcelo Bielsa, they were able to end it at a victory. But 7-goal thriller it was for Liverpool, 4-3. They had to find a way to score. And some persons believe that we're back to that era where Liverpool will concede much number of goals, will find a way to win by a 1-goal match. And you look at Manchester City, the other club that is expected to have storming a surprise in the English Premier League and take the league by storm, struggling this season, not scores of injuries, now many injuries, befalling the Manchester City side, with the manager trying to tweak his tactics just to ensure that whatever comes, he grinds out the victory. Which other club would you want to talk about? Is it Manchester United with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who hasn't been promising with his team? And then you look at Chelsea with all the great signings they've made, in the off-season, borrowing words from basketball now. The manager of the team, Frank Lampard, is still looking for a way to utilize them, to play them as a bunch, because I want to believe that he's still thinking of how to use each player to their respective strength, while considering or while minimizing the weaknesses of each player, ensuring that they give the best each time they come into the field of play. Today we are seeing Tam Abraham pairing up with Akim Ziyech and Timo Werner. Other days you will have what's the other man's now?
Hudson-Odoi, Christian Pulisic as well.
You look at their pairing, Kai Havertz at some point, pairing at the top three, and many will come up with the criticism that they should play Kai Havertz behind the strikers. So the man is still looking at how to find a proper setup for his young Chelsea team with the great signings he made during the season break. So the big teams now expected to have take the league by storm are still finding a way to settle in. Leicester City, not one of the biggest of teams in the English Premier League, but of course you want to count them in. Injuries as well hasn't been doing them good things for Leicester City. One of the key players of that side, which happens to be a Nigerian in the person of Wilfred Ndidi, out. And so the man has been able to, talking about the coach of the side now, has been able to find a way to at least see how he can fill in that gap and continue to get results. You look at Tottenham Hotspur with Jose Mourinho as the manager, brought in new signings, and even some of the new signings he brought into the team, they are still yet to find their footing in the club. So it has been across board for all the English Premier League teams this season. Maybe not necessarily all of them per se, because the likes of Aston Villa are playing to the best they can play. You catch the big boys. They happens to be the giant killers this season. You catch the big boys, you demolish them as much as you could. Did that to Liverpool, 7-2, and then they didn't stop right there. So I think that's the best they can get. Catch the big boys once in a while and then demolish them. When you get to a club that is at your own level, see how much you can grind out the victory. Credit to some of their signings, the likes of Ross Barkley that was signed to the side, the likes of Oli Watkins that was also signed to the side, and then some other clubs too trying to play catch up in the season, just remaining at the level that they usually be for some other club. But the big boys now, none of them has been spectacular, also exceptional between the big boys, between the big six in the English Premier League, and that is why we are having this one top the table for like 3 match days, and then before you know it, they concede defeat and they are out of the table. Another club takes over, and just like that. But I want to believe that as we are heading toward the middle of the season or the first quarter of the season, we'll see the big boys bouncing back. Liverpool, their highest undoing thus far would be the injuries caused they've had. And that's why I'm very interested in any match involving Liverpool, because I want to see how much of a great tactician Jurgen Klopp is. How would he mastermind a Liverpool setup to continue grinding out results despite the number of injuries they've had? So toward the middle of the season, I want to believe that these big teams will bounce back, will probably know who is who in the English Premier League 2020-2021 season. I've always believed that in the Premier League, any team that tops the league into December, if you top the league by November into December, you stand a great chance of winning the English Premier League. It has been like that for some seasons now. So toward that point, toward that time, which is just a couple of weeks away, definitely we'll know who is who in the English Premier League this season.
All right. So you, Nathaniel, Newcastle United without their danger man, Callum Wilson. This guy has scored 6 out of the 10 goals the team has scored in total, and he misses out of this one with a hamstring injury. Chelsea as well. Thiago Silva, who has been the captain of the side, is absent as a result of the long distance when it comes to traveling. And now we have Antonio Rudiger making his very first appearance for the season in the English Premier League. Which one of these two teams have a bigger miss? Is it Newcastle United missing Callum Wilson or Chelsea missing Thiago Silva?
It's Newcastle United. And why I say Newcastle United, because when you look at the Chelsea side, despite Thiago Silva missing at the within the teams, they still have cool-headed names, more names that can move the team ahead. In as much as Rudiger is not that kind of top-notch defender these days when it comes to form and all that. So I think Newcastle side will definitely be missing a lot when it comes to Callum Wilson. Apart from Callum Wilson, I barely see any striker that can live up to the expectation. Yeah, Joe Linton is there, but not that brilliant when it comes to finishing. Not that brilliant when it comes to finishing compared to what Wilson will give to you. So definitely is Newcastle United that will definitely miss a lot.
Okay, let's get your predictions for that game, starting with you, Nathaniel.
3-0 for Chelsea.
3-0 for Chelsea. Reliance?
Of course, only Nathaniel is going to do the prediction. Don't you?
Oh, it's true. You are on a prediction. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. You can send in your predictions for the game involving Newcastle United and Chelsea. Kickoff is in 4 minutes' time. We would be giving you updates on that very match, live updates as it happens. So do well to stay with us. But you can send in your prediction to our text or WhatsApp portal that is at 0701 933 9962. I tell you, it has been a dramatic season with so many clubs, different clubs already topping the league at a point in time or the other. The last time Chelsea were top of the Premier League was
long
2018.
Yeah,
under Mauricio Sarri. So I tell you, they would want to get that one to probably just be top of the Premier League for a table for just a short while prior to Manchester City and Tottenham Hotspur playing, and then we could now move on from there. But leaving the game behind, let's talk about the Premier League in general, as players are picking up injuries while playing for their country. Yes, you want to say this is nothing new, but this international break could prove to be particularly costly. The grueling schedule combined with the coronavirus pandemic means a host of stars could be missing when domestic football continues this weekend. Let's start with those who have tested positive for COVID-19. Arsenal, they have Mohamed El Neni. The man has tested positive for coronavirus. And there's also Said Kolasinac. So both players would be absent for Arsenal. Crystal Palace with Luka Milivojevic. Liverpool with Mohamed Salah. Tottenham Hotspur with Matt Doherty. West Bromwich Albion with Callum Robinson, while West Ham United have Andrei Yarmolenko out of the squad due to COVID-19. Wolves, they also have Conor Coady, who is self-isolating after coming in contact with someone who has tested positive for the virus. On Monday, the Premier League announced that 16 positive results came from 1,207 players and club staff tested for coronavirus between 9th and 15th of November. That is the most positive cases this season and the most since the league restarted in June, as the previous high was 10 from the 21st to the 27th of September. The latest round of testing did not include those on international duty, with 439 fewer tests than the previous week. On Wednesday, it was confirmed that Liverpool's Mohamed Salah had again returned a positive test while on international duty with Egypt. He's one of the 7 players to test positive while away with their country. The Republic of Ireland had 4 players test positive, including Tottenham defender Matt Doherty and West Brom's Callum Robinson, while Tottenham forward Son Heung-min had to quarantine in a hotel in Austria while away with South Korea after 6 teammates caught the virus. Ukraine's Nation League game in Switzerland on Tuesday was called off after 3 players tested positive for coronavirus, while Sunday's match between Norway and Romania was cancelled after the Norway team had to quarantine. Manchester United defender Alex Telles should be available for Saturday's Premier League match against West Brom after testing negative while playing for Brazil. Earlier reports had suggested that he had tested positive, but he was on the bench for Wednesday's 2-0 win over Uruguay. For Chelsea, the forward Kai Havertz, lead striker Rodrigo, and West Brom's Branislav Ivanovic, as well as Matheus Pereira, tested positive for COVID-19 at the start of November, but should be able to return this weekend after completing a period of self-isolation. Kai Havertz, of course, not returning. And for Spain, it is Atletico Madrid striker Luis Suarez, who is set to miss a reunion with Barcelona later today after testing positive while away with Uruguay. So many positive COVID-19 tests. Reliance, what is your take on this? The international window, the international break, do you think it somehow aggravated the COVID-19 cases?
I think it's obvious that it has. We have numbers of COVID-19 reports, and at some point, it was looking like it was going to be a problem, something to worry about. I was beginning to think ahead of myself, would the Premier League be stalled because of this? But actually, that was really me thinking ahead of myself, because economically, that is a decision that the Premier League wouldn't want to take at this point. But the international break has its own effects, which is the number of COVID-19 tests we've seen. I cannot particularly say if some of the victims of positive cases of COVID and the players tested during assignments for their respective countries. For instance, for Mohamed Salah, I cannot really tell if it contracted the virus while in England before traveling over to Egypt. Or it was at his Egyptian nation that he contracted the virus. But truth be told, I want to believe that it has been due to movements in and out of England for players, in and out of Spain for players, in and out of Italy for players, that have resulted for COVID-19 results we've seen, the uprising in COVID-19 results we've seen for some of the players playing their football matches in elite clubs in Europe. Save for the international break, I'm not sure the numbers would have been aggravated as much as we have right now. So it's something to worry about, but I want to believe that as the measures are being taken and as the players are returning to their respectful clubs, time will take its toll and they will recover and they will rejoin their respective teams and continue where they stopped. Because one thing about COVID, which is clear for even a common man in the street, is restriction of movement is a way to curb the possible spread of the virus. Because if you contract the virus for any reason and many thanks to our engineer though. Okay, so if you contract the virus for any reason and you stay put, you don't infect another person, and if anybody has contracted the virus, you don't stand the risk of contracting it or being infected if you limit your movements and only move when necessary. But it was necessary for the players playing their trade in Europe and some other part of the world to travel to their respective countries to honor their national cause. But unfortunately, they have to return positive for COVID. So it's just a matter of time, Victor. Let's give it 1 month. Some of the players are possibly returning to their teams. For instance, what's his name? Alex Telles for Manchester United should be available for the match later today. The lineup is not yet out. So, incubation period for COVID is 14 days. So after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and maximum 1 month, I think we're going to have the complement of these players back.
Okay. Well, kick off already. You want to say thank goodness that the Premier League is back after how many seasons? Just 2 weeks, sir.
Yeah,
2 weeks. And thank goodness to our engineer Godwin, who has been working behind the scene to ensure that we see the match live on our screens.
Okay, well, the match is underway at St. James Park. Newcastle United in the classic black and white, while Chelsea, they're playing in the orangey, purple, pinkish jersey.
What's that?
Do you know the color? I don't know the color
It's
of this
just
jersey.
orange.
Is it orange?
Yes,
But someone look like a pink.
It looks like orange and it has purple in it.
It's just
plus-
orange, guys.
plus
It's just
peach.
it's similar to the Netherlands. I think that should be their home jersey for the Netherlands at
The
some point. The
Netherlands
Dutch,
look
Dutch
more-
national
well,
team.
Well, Chelsea's wearing that jersey. They're wearing one
color,
jersey.
whatever color it is.
Whatever color it is. Just 3 minutes of action gone in that center. And like I said earlier, we'll be giving you the updates as it happens. Well, we move on from that. Still talking about the injuries. Well, 14 out of 20 Premier League clubs have had players withdrawn from international duty because of injury or COVID-19 over the past 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Timo Werner with an attempt. And it was just parried away by the Newcastle United goalkeeper. That is Darlow. It could have been Chelsea 1-0 up. Timo Werner did drive in and took the shot, but fingertip save just kept Newcastle United. It was saved Newcastle United. That was heading straight into the back of the net. So it is a corner kick for Chelsea. 4 minutes of action gone, and the pressure seemed to be piling up already. Well, still speaking about the injuries, 14 out of 20 Premier League clubs have had players withdrawn from international duty because of injury or COVID-19 over the past 2 weeks. Liverpool, of course, they are the worst affected, with defender Joe Gomez needing knee surgery after he was injured while training with England, and he is likely to miss a significant part of the rest of the season. The Premier League champions are already without fellow centre-back Virgil van Dijk because of a long-term knee ligament injury, and they have Salah, who is likely to miss the next 2 games because of self-isolation rules, with captain Jordan Henderson also in doubt after withdrawing from the Three Lions squad on Monday. Let's run through the international, or the list rather, of the different clubs and the players they have injured. Brighton and Hove Albion have Aaron Connolly out injured. For Chelsea is Christian Pulisic. The man has not played again since the 28th of October. Crystal Palace, Eberechi Eze. He seems to have taken a knock as he was withdrawn from the under-21 English national team squad. For Everton, it is Seamus Coleman. And for Leicester City, Wesley Fofana. The man was also withdrawn from France under-21 squad. Liverpool, Joe Gomez is out injured. Jordan Henderson is out injured. Rhys Williams is out injured. Neco Williams is out injured.
What?
Virgil van Dijk is out injured. I could go on and on. Liverpool have at least 10 players out injured. Manchester City's Nathan Ake and Raheem Sterling. While for Manchester United, it is Marcus Rashford. Sheffield United, John Egan and Ryan Brewster. It seems like Ryan Brewster has also been out injured as the man was withdrawn from the English under-21 squad as well. While I was talking about Liverpool, who you had not answered, why did you say what? Was this a surprise?
When did Neco Williams got injured?
Well, things happen during the international break. It doesn't seem like it's a serious injury. Maybe just something slight,
Okay.
but he got injured. He might be featuring in their next game. We don't know yet. But let's look at the injury list. Liverpool, obviously the worst affected. We've been talking about this for a while now. It seems like the names just keep on adding. Initially, Rhys Williams as well as Neco Williams seem to be the replacement for Virgil van Dijk, and now you have both players injured. Can Jurgen Klopp find a way around this situation or out of this situation?
Man, it's a very big problem. Very big problem for the Liverpool guys, and especially Jurgen Klopp. How is he going to? Where is he going to get players from? Well, maybe he will look straight towards the junior guys, the young ones at the lower levels. Now, maybe at least just to bring anybody into that place, because currently look at the squad, everybody is out. I would use the word everybody. Maybe yes, Fabinho is a little bit back, but not yet back to fitness because we saw him on the gym. Yeah, doing 1 or 2 little training. But it's going to be a very big one. But I really feel maybe they will just try their way to try 1 or 2 tactics, or maybe playing around to see how far they can get a result.
But so you think would this affect him in any way? Would it affect the team's performance
For sure.
their next games?
Yeah, it would definitely affect the performance. You know what this guy, the starting 11, when it comes to the back line, and those guys that are out right now, especially Fabinho, what they bring to the field of play, they give the team a kind of solidity in the back and also creativity in the midfield, is going to be a very big one, especially hard for them.
I'm trying to look at the Liverpool squad, a complement of all the squad, just to see what the manager Jurgen Klopp can possibly do. But
Newcastle United in the game. The cross was whipped in, that should be by Hakim Ziyech, and it was beautiful header by Tammy Abraham. Somehow, the goalkeeper got to it and saved it. So it is still goal, it is still 0-0 in that game. Chelsea have had 2 great attempts cleared out by the goalkeeper Darlow, and Hakim Ziyech keeps proving why he's the magician, you want to say. He knows, but then you can't delay it. You know, they say destiny can be delayed but cannot be changed.
Beautiful.
Ben
Ben Chilwell puts Chelsea ahead. His 3rd goal for the team. The result, you want to see a little bit of scramble.
Push, just watch it.
It's not even Ben Chilwell's goal, it's an own goal.
It's an own goal. So Ben Chilwell had no business pushing the player. That goal should stand. There's no need for any VAR review at this point, and I think the goal stands for Chelsea. So
so the goal stands.
The goal stands. Let's wait for the
confirmation.
The goal stands. The goal stands. So it's
1-0 it is to Chelsea
in favor of Chelsea.
And it was Fernandes with the own goal. Ben Chilwell, it seemed like Ben Chilwell had a touch to it, but rather it wasn't him. It was Fernandes, the Newcastle United player, that got a touch to that one. So it is 1-0 to Chelsea.
That's the beauty of having good crossers. Reminds me of what we were begging for in the team of General, but that's by the way. They've been coming. Ben Chilwell has been crossing the ball. Mason Mount too on the other side. Hakim Ziyech as well. They've been doing the crossing. 60 minutes. The manager Jurgen Klopp could likely do. There's still Constantino Tsimikas, right?
Yeah.
Nathaniel Phillips is still there. These are ordinarily no names if you want to look at the setup that Jurgen Klopp likes putting forward in any team as per the defense. Andrew Robertson is still part of the team. Joe Matip is still there. Trent Alexander-Arnold, a doubt, I think.
Yeah, he's out injured, and his potential return would be in December, the 5th of December. The man has a calf injury.
So those are the defenders now. How many of them here? We have Joe. Let me start from Virgil van Dijk out. Joe Gomez out. Andrew Robertson available, Joe Matip available, Trent Alexander-Arnold out, Nico Williams out, Constantino Tsimikas available, Nathaniel Phillips, is he out?
Nathaniel Phillips is not out.
I think he's around. Then we have Van der Berg, who's that? Is available, Rhys Williams. I didn't say Van der Beek. Say Van der Berg. Okay, is available. Rhys Williams.
And there's also a James Milner who can
debutize at the defense lineup for Jurgen Klopp's men. Now here's the thing: we might see a season or couple of match days where Liverpool concede goals but still gets the victory. What was like their hallmark?
Another attempt for Chelsea. This time it is Timo Werner dancing, and he makes the cross, but Tammy Abraham was quite far from it and could not make contact with the ball. It is Chelsea running riot, and I tell you, Newcastle United have got to beware, else this could be a free-for-all, you want to say. Timo Werner once again involved in the attack, but no goal, and it would be a goal kick for Newcastle United.
I dare say that Timo Werner has the body movements of Cristiano Ronaldo. Honestly. Tam Abraham needed the pace, but he lacked the pace. He still lacks the pace, so he couldn't cut in right there. That's why he may not really be a very good collaboration between himself and the other German duo of Timo Werner and Kai Havertz. If Kai Havertz plays behind the strikers, I have Timo Werner as a center man, center forward. You have Hakim Ziyech on this side of the wing, attacking. And you have maybe a Pulisic on the other side. These are all pacey players. All right, they can complement themselves in terms of the pace, but Tam Abraham featuring would be a slowdown of some sort, and we've just seen it there because I think he was in a range somewhat close where he would have slotted that one in at the back of the net, but unfortunately he lacks the pace to complete that setup. So for Liverpool, you might go back to that era where, not necessarily an era now, but we saw that some seasons back before Van Dijk and Alisson Becker was brought in to cushion the effects of conceding goals in the defense. We might go back to that for some match days until we have at least more than half of those players returning, especially the defenders. They will concede goals, but they will eventually get the result. That's what we might see. And we might also see Jurgen Klopp try to do a bit of tweaking his tactics. Now, let's borrow a leaf, I said, from Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola enjoys dominating possession, but with most of his players out, he refuses to be naive, so to speak, to continue what he's known for, to dominate possession. And that is why the number of passes completed for Pep Guardiola's men reduced, at least from the beginning of this season, because a lot of the players are out, and so the man is not really interested in dominating position anymore. All he wants to do is attack as much as you can, regroup as much as you can. Do not hold on to the ball as long as possible, because you know you don't have some of the players that hold on to the ball and make something with it. So that is a manager who understands the predicament of his team and is working toward ensuring that the lapses in the team are well filled up. And we might see something similar for Jurgen Klopp, because Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp, they play a similar kind of football, although Pep Guardiola maintains possession longer than Jurgen Klopp. Jurgen Klopp does not really maintain position as long as Pep Guardiola does, but they regroup almost with the same setting, with the same pattern. So we might see that for Jurgen Klopp now. What can you do to ensure that you don't concede more goals? The best thing is to do is attack. The only person out of the attacking lineup now will be Mo Salah for Jurgen Klopp.
And they have Diogo Jota.
Diogo Jota is still there that can fill in. Firmino is still there that can play, that can fall in deep and also distribute passes. We still have money on the other side. So they could concede goals, but they eventually score. We might just see that coming back. But I want to believe that Jurgen Klopp should be able to factor a way out for the team in the meantime.
Okay, now leaving Liverpool, let's go talk about Manchester City, as they also have some players out injured. Nathan Ake, Raheem Sterling, albeit according to PremierLeagueInjuries.com, Raheem Sterling could be returning today. Sergio Aguero should also be making his return to the squad today, as well as Benjamin Mendy. Nathan Ake has got a thigh injury. He says a hamstring strain, so the man will definitely not be featuring for the Citizens. Arsenal also have 7 players out. Pablo Mari is out until at least December, and there's also Thomas Partey, who would not be featuring for the Gunners anytime. Maybe this week. By next week, he should be back into the squad. Reece Nelson, the man is also out due to a knee injury. He might be returning tomorrow. Gabriel Martinelli, there is no one knows when he would return due to the injury. He has a knee injury. And Callum Chambers, Mohamed El Neni, Said Kolasinac, for those players, it is COVID-19. So many teams, so many injuries hampering them, and what have you. But we're joined in the studio by the Chief Justice himself. His name is Chidubem Joseph Njoku. CJN, welcome to the show.
Well, it's one of those days that nothing really happens. Nothing really works for you. But apologies, first of all, for coming a bit behind schedule. I tried everything in my power to be here on time, but somehow Port Harcourt has a way of thwarting those plans. And but good thing I'm here. And just to say, over the weekend, over the past week, this week now, the winding out week, I was able to go to the other side of Port Harcourt. Since I came in, I've been just in and around this axis, Ozoba, Rumokoro, and then this Uniport area. But I went towards the other side and I saw the many flyovers. Kudos to the governor, by the way. The Port Harcourt is beginning to look like a flyaway state, too many flyovers everywhere. But good thing, the state is working. But I wish the hold up can as well be put to a stop, just as the way we are seeing some of the bad roads being put to a stop. But good to be here watching Newcastle take on Chelsea right there at the St. James's Park. I hope it gives us a fine showing, although it really hasn't so far.
It hasn't. Okay, well, that's according to the guys.
Well, it was expected, to be fair, it was expected to be a one-sided affair, and that's exactly what we're seeing.
Okay, Children, let's get your thoughts as regards the injury worries of a lot of teams. Manchester United, Marcus Rashford is out injured from the squad. Also trying to get confirmation as regards the other players that would not be featuring for United. Phil Jones is also out of the squad. Luke Shaw as well. Mason Greenwood, the man picked up a knock, and they said he might not be able to feature until the Champions League game. Same with Anthony Martial. Martial might be featuring today, is still speculations. Now, he did a late fitness test. He was complaining of a lower back problem. Same with Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Ese Lingard is also out of the Manchester United squad. Would these injuries affect them in their game tonight against West Bromwich Albion?
Well, they play against the West Bromwich Albion side, and they would have the possession this time around because they're playing against a side that would rather sit back and hit you on the break. But some of those injuries are no disrespect to the players, but they are not going to be missed by Manchester United. A beat Jesse Lingard, for instance, he contributes little to nothing for Manchester United these days, and of course Phil Jones as well. Luke Shaw is out, but you've got Alex Telles, who should be joining the squad, I think, this time around. And Anthony Martial, no doubt, he's not found life this season. People have been mocking him for not even having a shot on target for a long while. I don't think he's had one this season in the Premier League, so it's been that terrible for Anthony Martial. But come on, you know what the man can do, and he's very instrumental when United are on the break. But I think this time around, it could be a fine time to try Edison Cavani. Since he came in, he has not been given a chance to start. I don't think he started a game for Manchester United this season in the Premier League. So this is going to be a fine chance for the man to lead the lines for Manchester United. And of course, Marcus Rashford, the least you say about him, the better. He's been the figurehead, if not one of the figureheads of Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's been doing quite well on and off the pitch these days, and it's a pity that he's not going to be in for this one. Other players like Mason Greenwood, yes, vital role in that on that right wing. You look at that place, who's going to debutize? Perhaps you think of Van der Beek coming in to do that if he could, and little tweaks to that formation. I've always canvassed for a diamond midfield, and even as we see a chance goal back in there for Chelsea this time, and another crossing ball, somehow Newcastle able to clear their lines here. They're able this time.
How did Timo Werner not make contact with the cross? The cross came in, it was served beautifully by Hakim Ziyech. This is why the man came into the squad. Well, Werner was actually offside, but he still couldn't.
I shouldn't be missing that.
Oh, it wasn't even Ziyech. It was Rhys James.
It was Rhys James. But
Rhys James is learning 1802 from the Wizard.
But Timo, what's that? Tammy Abraham is not positioning himself very well these days. I don't really know why. If it is a proper, I beg not proper. If it's a Olivier Giroud in that place, despite it's an offside, you will see him getting contact on that ball.
Well, but that wasn't even Tammy Abraham. That was Timo Werner.
Yeah, at that position. I think the way the team is set out to play, you don't have a fixated man in the box. So it mustn't be Tammy Abraham. If it's not Tammy Abraham, you have Timo Werner. It could even be Hakim Ziyech sometimes, or even Kai Havertz drifting in. So it's not a fixated, the conventional number 9 thing we used to see. Tammy Abraham is just more like a figure in that box as number 9, but it's not actually that old-fashioned number 9 we used to see. So it's a very fluid front line we are seeing from Chelsea, those front 3 players. But like I was saying, Victor, for Manchester United, I think United can cope. They should be able to cope. They've got enough in their kitty. That midfield, I think a little tweak should be done. They are best when they play the diamond formation. Van der Beek is here. They've got Paul Pogba as well, Bruno Fernandes, and of course Mata. It looks like Newcastle had a chance this time, but that one didn't go in. But I think United should cope. These are the times we want to see the best of the managers. When the chips are down, the players are out. We've seen it for Jurgen Klopp already. He's missed virtually the whole defense this season.
Players to withdraw from the team. Reliance, are we?
That is something of what happens to our form. Will we be able to get to that position we were before the international window? And again, injuries. We've seen scores of injuries due to international window, due to international break we just came off from. It's other thing that will result in the club managers complaining about international windows. Certainly they will sure complain. So for the national team managers, of course, I mean, it's a two-way thing. These players are representing their club, and as well they are representing their country. So international windows for players mandatory, compulsory. They have to go and represent their respective countries, and whatever result comes out, you should be able to manage it. Recall that the AFCON was shifted to sometimes June, because of trying to align the calendar with what is happening in Europe, and at the same time giving advantage to African players such that clubs would easily sign them, understanding that they won't leave their club duty somewhere in the middle of the season, just like we've always had them do, sometimes around January when the AFCON was scheduled for that time. Although I think for Cameroon 2021 we're going to be having it during January. So that is the reason why the complaint will come. And you said you definitely should understand. Would there be a tussle? Well, it depends. If the club managers have a way of retaining a bulk of their squad during international windows, they will go for it. Whatever legal means they will have to ensure that their key players don't leave for international duties, they will surely go for it, because they want to save these legs, because they have a marathon season to run. If there is a way that the national team managers will also have a complement of their full squad during international break, they'll also go for it, because both of them, what are they pursuing? Victory, either in the club or in the national team. So we'll continue seeing this tussle.
You have to give kudos to the likes of Kai Havertz. They are running ins and out.
Kai Havertz is here.
Not Kai Havertz now.
Hakim Ziyech.
Not Hakim Ziyech. Timo Werner himself. He's been doing a lot of running this time around. And of course, Hakim Ziyech, what a season he's beginning to have. He's easily stepping into becoming perhaps the signing of the season already. He's had a fine this Chelsea side, like we expected. It's going to be an exciting team to watch, especially from an attacking perspective.
Can you take a wild guess on the possession?
Well, I would say somewhere between 78-22.
Well, it's actually 8 finish, and you begin to ask yourself, Steve Bruce's men, they are playing something, but is it football?
But if Steve Bruce, I don't think Steve Bruce will be only worried that they've considered a goal. Because I don't think Steve Bruce is bothered about the possession statistics, because that's exactly how he wants it. He doesn't want to have the ball. He wants this kind of situations you are seeing now, when Newcastle just has that lucky break and see if they can get something.
Well, the chance for Newcastle United, and you want to say one touch too many, I'll be danger not averted. That's Edward Mendy. Cook up something. They are the ball fell into the safe hands of Edward Mendy, and quickly it is Chelsea now attacking. 4 players in the penalty box. Newcastle United doing their best to clog that Chelsea's attack. This has been a brilliant show from Chelsea, Frank Lampard's men, and Newcastle United have done their bits defensively. Well, while we still keep our eyes on that game, let's move to Jose Mourinho, as yesterday made it 1 year since he was appointed as manager of Tottenham Hotspur. The man is speaking on the show today, talking about the journey. Let's listen to Jose Mourinho.
The moment when I arrived, of course, was a difficult moment for everyone. It's logic when a club decides to sack a manager, especially a manager with years of work and empathy and good work in the club like Mauricio was because the moment was difficult, and was when I arrived. And 2 days later a match, 4 days later a Champions League match, a couple of weeks later a few big injuries, and then was very, very difficult this season, in spite of we still live in this different world and in this different football, but was about a pre-season, was about start from zero, was about everybody with the same number of points. You were not chasing anybody, you was not chasing a sixth position that was the possible target, and it's a completely different way to work. What I cannot deny is that the difficult months I had in relation to the last season, they helped me in relation to this season, because of course I know the clubs, they know me.
Driving in, he should have taken the shot, but the man seemed united. But let's see how it pans out. Guys, let me get your thoughts as regards Jose Mourinho 1 year on the job. Starting with each of them.
Jose Mourinho 1 year. Well, I think he came in for a purpose, for a project. Daniel Levy is a man that I have so much respect for when it comes to his acuity when in business terms. Now he's a very astute businessman. He doesn't take nonsense. He's one of those few owners, club owners now, that won't bargain with you, in quotes. If they tell you, I'm selling this for this, if you like, price from now till next year. If they tell you 100 million pounds, it's 100 million pounds. If you don't have the money, you get out. That's how rigid the man is. But come on, Tottenham has been on a phase with Pochettino, or they were on a phase, and that phase lasted for quite some time, where they moved from being that team that will just settle for a place outside of the top 4 brackets, just somewhere 6th, 7th, have a good season like Everton used to under David Moyes. But they moved on from that phase with Pochettino into a proper top 4 side, where every other season you could beat your chest and say Tottenham were good for places. Christian Eriksen, whether he would leave or whether he would stay, he eventually left to Inter Milan. We had the case of renewal contract and uncertainty around
Ganga.
Exactly. So you would expect them to get the business done for him. In defense as well, he's brought in Reguilon to strengthen things, solidify things at that left back spot. So I think is maybe not at the level of Manchester City and Liverpool. I mean, those guys have taken years in machinery. You know, he comes in and he gets the players he wants and he gets the business done. He wasn't able to do that last season. Got a few players, but come on.
On Jose Mourinho, 1 year, 2 p.m. and it is 14 minutes gone already. By 4:15, Villarreal will take on Real Madrid. Sevilla will be up against Celta Vigo, and then Atletico Madrid by 9 p.m. would host Barcelona. In Germany, games are yet to kick-start. The kickoff being 3:30 p.m. Arminia Bielefeld will take on Bayer Leverkusen versus Wolfsburg. Eintracht Frankfurt would welcome Rosenborg Leipzig, and Hertha Berlin will take on Borussia Dortmund. In the Italian Serie A, club told Daily Mail, sorry to say this, but I couldn't care less in this moment. Jamie, it doesn't look like somebody will get 100 points or whatsoever. In this season, 4 weeks shorter, same amount of games, I don't think it is possible. Even 87 points seems far away. My English is not good enough to describe exactly what went through my mind with Joe Gomez. My head physio told me and everybody was sure it was serious immediately, no doubt. No hope, it was only a little one. Injuries are part of the deal for players and managers. How they happen is something we are constantly worried about. With the Van Dijk situation, it was not because of the intensity of the game. It was because of a very strange decision by one person, Jordan Pickford, which made it very hard to deal with. In recent weeks, Klopp has joined Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola in pushing for the introduction of 5 substitutes in Premier League matches due to the congested fixture list. Klopp said this is a very special time, not only for football, but for the whole world. All of us have to dig in and fight hard to get through it. In football, it's like this. It looks like this, the whole world changed, but the two things which stayed were the fixture list and the Premier League. Were the fixture list of the Premier League and 3 substitution. If we were to win this year, it would be a big achievement, maybe a bigger one. That's what I love about the Premier League. There are so many contenders. Our start was so bad. Yes, we had a very special game against Aston Villa, the 7-2 defeat. Maybe we needed that. We've used it. Leicester is on Sunday. Let's see how that goes. Nathaniel, looking at Klopp's complaints, he says he doesn't think any team would get up to 100 points this season. He said 87 points would be almost impossible. Do you agree? We've seen teams back to back. Manchester City did get 100 points. Last season, Liverpool were close to it.
Yes, I think I will agree with him somehow. But though maybe a team can get 80-something points, but 100 points is very, very difficult. Looking at all the clubs right now in the Premier League, in the English Premier League, they've all stepped up. They've bought quite some good players, good managers, and they've been bringing out good results. You can barely see a team that can just go, 10 match unbeaten straight back to back. It's very difficult right now in the Premier League. And as at that time when the Liverpool and the Manchester City did that, they were just flying high, just like that. They were in a kind of a winning streak, a roller coaster move without anybody stopping them. But this one, you saw what they did to Liverpool, even Aston Villa, trashing Liverpool 7-0 and all that. Even Leicester City also did that to Leicester City also did that to Manchester City at a point in time. But very hard, though maybe a team can, get to 80-something point. But 100 points will be very difficult.
Okay.
Well, I'd say that I was thinking of something during the week about these injury issues and points to be amassed this season by clubs and how they're going to perform this season. And something just crossed my mind, the fact that the younger teams, the smaller teams in quotes now, the Villas of this world and Southamptons and all, they are quite favoured in some way in comparison with the bigger teams. And I say that because of the international break in the past 4 weeks or even 2 months now. We have had two or three now, I think two breaks so far into this season. And you consider the fact that these big teams have virtually all their players playing at international level as well. But it's not the case for the smaller teams. You can just pick maybe 1 or 2 players or 3, 4 who are actually integral parts of their national teams. But you look at Arsenal, for instance, Chelsea, Manchester City, Liverpool, virtually all the players in the squad are integral parts of their national teams. So after a grueling season, from last season, the COVID-19 pandemic, everything has bombarded the season. We're having a crazy season, by all standards. And then you have a choked season in the Premier League, in the Champions League, in the Carabao Cup, and FA Cup, whatever it is. And then you still have to go back to the Nations League to play an important role for your team. And look at what happened to Andy Robertson the other time. He had to be excused from that game against Scotland because he had tightened his hamstring and also the pressure on the players is very high. Van Dijk, even before he got that injury, he would have to walk his socks off for Netherlands and come back and do the same for Liverpool. I mean, look at what Mo Salah is to Egypt. He's the champion of Egypt. The whole country is reliant on him, and then he still has to go to Liverpool and deliver. The same thing for Sadio Mane. I mean, he was out there in Senegal the other time scoring goals for Senegal, and he still has to go back to Liverpool and play football. Yes, they are paid to play football, no doubt, but come on, this is a special season, and of course you have to appreciate these things. But the small teams don't have to suffer that much. Some of their best players don't even get a chance to play in the national teams. Callum Wilson sometimes will be on the bench, and he's the best. He's a figurehead, although he's injured this time. But he's the figurehead for Newcastle. Yeah. But sometimes he doesn't even get to play for the English national team or start. So even when they are there in the national teams, they don't play. They are on the bench. So they have that edge. Their players are fresher when they come back to the pitch because they just virtually go to those national competitions or their national teams for excursion. Just go there, the players train, and they don't get to play on the pitch. So they don't get to face the kind of injury worries or potential injury scares that the teams from the bigger teams will face. I think that's an edge they would have this season, and that could ultimately contribute to shockers of results now we're going to be seeing this season. We've seen 1, 2, 3, 4 already this season, but I think we might be seeing more with these kind of situations lingering because the big teams are going to be seeing more injuries, no doubt. Players are going to wear out. Human beings are not machines. Even machines wear out when you keep using them and there are no checks. They're going to wear out. So I think this season is going to be a peculiar season. Managers will have to walk, just dance around what you have. It's a peculiar season, accept it for what it is. I agree totally with Jurgen Klopp. This season is a special season. I don't expect to see 100 points. That's not going to happen. There's a lot affecting the big teams this time around. Liverpool injuries, Manchester City injuries, COVID-19, and all whatnot. And it's just one of those seasons where the grinding out result thing will come into play. How much are you going to be doing it? For this season, let's just enjoy it.
Run for Liverpool last season. They won the Premier League last season with 7 matches to spare, record in the Premier League. Right, spectacular in the German Bundesliga. I think that season, Liverpool finished second with just 3 points below Manchester City at 97. That was because we had a spectacular manager in whom...
that was 2 seasons back.
Yeah,
Sorry?
This season they finished with 100 points. Liverpool were not that close. It was Manchester United that finished second. I think about 18 points. It was the season United...
Jurgen Klopp side Liverpool this season already. And you begin to ask yourself, how would the man cope up with the team into the middle of the season where it becomes very hot? Let's not forget that it's not just the Premier League that Jurgen Klopp is competing. He's still competing in the FA Cup. I think basically all the 4 competitions for Liverpool, they are still in FA Cup, Carling Cup, Champions League, and then what's the other one now? Carabao Cup. That's it. So they are there competing in all fronts, and you begin to ask yourself, how will Liverpool fare, going forward into the middle of the season, where they will likely get to the knockout stages of each of these competitions. The Champions League is still there for them. You ask yourself questions about how the manager of the club will fare and which player will be fielded in, what will the results look like. So if he finds a way to win it, I think it's going to be a bigger achievement. Victor, I think I will agree with Jurgen Klopp because of the worries they've had. Last season, where they did in brilliant form, they had a complement of the full squad. They didn't have much of the challenges that they've had this season.
Okay.
And then another thing also to be considered is that some other clubs are also having problems. Manchester City should be the number one mention at this point, because when you're looking at the competition in the Premier League this season, you still want to stick out your neck for both two of Manchester City and Liverpool. So their closest competitor at this level are also having problems in terms of injury worries and all that. So whoever wins the league this season won't do it in fine form. But I think I will agree that it's going to be a great achievement, understanding how they've started the season and how they are trying to cope in all fronts.
Okay, well, we will be moving to the phone lines now to get to hear from you. But just to let you know, as it stands, Chelsea are on top of the Premier League table for the first time since 2007. 0-0.
My name is Victor calling from Buvichi.
Victor, welcome.
I like the way Chelsea are playing today. At least they are giving the back Newcastle back a little tough time. And Mrs. Frontino, I think he comes out in the second half a good, excellent result. Okay.
Thank you so much, Victor from Igboeche, for your contribution. Let's hear from the caller. Hello, Today Sports Line.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ike.
Good afternoon, Ike. Welcome.
Hello, I'm a Liverpool supporter.
Welcome, Ike.
Okay, I believe your club will clinch the Premier League. He's going to go 3 seasons unbeaten.
3 seasons unbeaten?
Yes, there's nothing Pep can do about it. Pep has lost his mojo.
Okay.
I believe Klopp is the man. You will see what he will do against Leicester City.
That means you have to start the unbeaten from next season now.
He meant unbeaten like he's going to win the title 3 seasons back to back.
3 seasons, yeah. Still Klopp.
Okay, not unbeaten now.
Klopp remains in Anfield.
Okay.
So he leaves England. So just watch and see.
All right. Thank you so much,
Our
Ike.
academy boys will do it well.
The academy boys will do it well. All right. Well, let's see how it goes against Leicester City, that we're top of the Premier League. We're top of the Premier League before Chelsea, before this particular match. Well, you never
Leicester
can
City
tell.
has their own worries too. They are without Fofana, or maybe without Fofana. That's huge.
Still speculations. No. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, it's Moses, and I'm ready to
Moses, welcome.
Yeah, please. That was what I call a bad belly. You are talking about Manchester City when the injury is affecting you guys. Don't worry, Man City you beat us here, and Liverpool are going to lose to Leicester City by 3 goals to nothing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Moses. Now I'm wondering who is the bad belly.
As I was listening to him, there's this comedy that came up in my head. There's this guy that said he was going to sell the country and he was the money to. That's exactly the voice. I was maybe Bros. You have to tell us if you're the one that did that skit. It was a nice one, by the way.
Okay, well, the phone lines are still open. Let's get to hear from you. 0817 000951, and you can also reach us on the number 0810 9510951. A change for Newcastle United as the second half is about to begin. Chelsea asked 99 that the midfielder is unhappy. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, I'm Dick Roland calling from Port Harcourt.
Oh, welcome, Roland.
You're just going to just come and do the finishing touching. So that because Tottenham that has been built already by Pochettino, you as a big coach, you don't even need much work. The only much work, you just need to sign 1 or 2 players, and then maybe just as if you've done enough signing, and just as if yes, they have come to their best. That's just what happened to Tottenham Hotspur. And maybe because too he came and then maybe make them bounce back, becoming hero competitors by playing the Europa League. But Marino winning Premier League with Tottenham, my brother. I think you are still dreaming.
No one said he was going to win the Premier League with Tottenham.
I know. But at least as it stands now, maybe with their current performance, people will start be saying Tottenham are still the competitive side. Tottenham, you can't even rate them above Manchester United that still has problems now. Even as that, I can still tell you that before the season ends, Manchester United will be above Tottenham. And then maybe Tottenham will find a way to maybe struggle it out with Leicester City, Aston Villa with Everton.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for
updates from the St. James's Park. A confirmation about that substitution. It was Jamal Lascelles who picked up a knock in the first half, who was taken off, and in his place came in Fabian Schär. So it's back to football for Newcastle and Chelsea.
Okay.
6 minutes on the clock.
Well, heading to United, talking about them, he felt stronger for it. He played very.
How was he going to find life in the Premier League that demands so much from players physically? But come on, Ibrahimovic shut everybody up, got 16 goals in the Premier League that season, was one of United's best players alongside Paul Pogba as well. I think Paul Pogba had arguably one of his best seasons, if not his best seasons as a Manchester United. We are part of that team. So if putting myself in his shoes now, I'm asking myself, why would I go once, and how Skillful Pero is his name from Eche. And time for me to go to the WhatsApp platform.
While you do that, let's hear from the scholar.
All right.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Victor.
Faith, you're welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon to your colleagues studio.
Yeah, good afternoon, Faith.
Thank you. I think he's having
used into this. Let's take some text messages.
Yeah, the WhatsApp is going to bench Bruno Fernandes because Bruno Fernandes is an attacking midfielder and Pogba is not an attacking midfielder. That's for the records. And he says wisdom, stop criticizing only. Well, wisdom is not here. If it's Chidubem you meant to say, then it's Chidubem, not wisdom or reliance or Nathaniel. I'm sure it's not Victor because Victor is not analyzing. Do you expect Ole to come out and criticize Pogba or what? Pogba has been performing under Ole. Pogba hasn't. Ole is the problem. Okay, I didn't get that last one. Are you guys serious? He says Pogba feels he is around young stars. What kind of statement is that? Well, I'm not sure anybody says Pogba is around young stars. It was more of a scenario painted. Look at Bruno. That is what you call a world-class player. A player is judged by his ability to take his team on the next level, and surely Bruno did that for Manchester United. Doesn't need. For me, Manchester United doesn't need Pogba. He has become a glorified flop. Well, like you said, for you. A good day, guys. I see the Tottenham versus Manchester City game to end on home win or in a home win. And to rate Jose, I will give him 70. You didn't tell us what the rating was over.
Amazing. It should be
I would assume it's about 100. That's Bishop from Akpajo. And finally, I just want to say, my name is Kingsley. Okay, let me read it the way he wrote it. My name na Kingsley Ojong from Rumokrushi. Chelsea and Newcastle go play 1-1 draw. That's not going to happen.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Plan for your sleep story.
Olivier Giroud is already warming up. The man might be coming in for Tammy Abraham.
You got a couple of goals.
During the international break, and according to lots of speculations, he might be leaving Chelsea. He says he needs to be in the France team for the Euro 2020.
Exactly.
And the only way to do that, he feels Mahim leave. That is if he leaves Chelsea for him to get.
It's that period before the Euros. There's usually that running around. I think that's why Barkley left Chelsea as well.
Okay. Can you hear us? Sorry. Do well to call us back, and we'll be taking your call. But does my voice really sound like Emeka?
Kevin will Twitter, Victor. Kevin will work with the hand.
Okay.
End of message.
Sean, Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City. Reliance says we shouldn't ask him again.
I'm banned. I'm banned from predicting.
So that's what you should do.
We'll deduct some thousands from your salary for doing that.
Please off your mic. Off your mic. Off your mic.
Bad blood. Carry spirit into me. But it's true.
Okay.
It's called draw.
Nathaniel?
Well, for me, I think Tottenham will definitely get the win because they are currently in fine form.
I think it will make for a fairy tale. Madrid bringing Dararari back to England and punishing Guardiola with a goal. If you're a Madrid fan, that would be heaven on earth, man.
Okay. Well, after returning from a 15-hour trip back to Barcelona on Wednesday morning, following it, that is heading back to Messi after a 15-hour trip back to Barcelona on Wednesday morning, following international duty at Barca, to which Messi said, "I'm tired of always being the problem with everything." And when the comments were put to Coleman, he said, Antoine is a lack of respect, once again, just to create controversy. I have not seen any problem between the two of them, not in the changing room, not on the training pitch. There are enough pictures who show them working well together. Someone has said something, and that someone has not been a client of Griezmann for 3 years. Okay. Well, let's go 9 points clear of Barca if they win. But Diego Simeone's side have not beaten the Catalans in La Liga since 2010. Well, the talks will continue about Lionel Messi, him staying or him leaving Barcelona. Reliance. He says, "Why do I have to be the problem of everything in this club?"
Reminds me of Balotelli. Why always?
Now, we're having Griezmann and all.
Many fallout, but truth be told, at the beginning of Antonio Griezmann's career at Barcelona, Messi wasn't so comfortable playing or partnering him in the club on the field of play. The reports were there. It was clear to see for anyone who watches Barcelona match as often as possible. You could see that the union between the two wasn't so distinct as at the time, and Griezmann struggled in Barcelona, although there are other factors.
It was deflected. I don't know.
Deflected.
I think Edouard Monti got his foot to it.
Well, the last chance for Chelsea. 5 players running up front, a counter-attack, and a beautiful sweeping pass. Finds Tammy Abraham, who pushes it forward, gives it to Mason Mount. Mount feeds Callum Hudson-Odoi. Odoi dances, and somehow you want to say the intensity of that attack has been dropped. Does that. 2-0 Chelsea on top of the Premier League table for the first time since September 2018. And Frank Lampard,
everything is a record these days.
Everything is a record.
Everything is just a record.
7 different teams have topped the Premier League table this season alone.
Record
already.
Record.
Another record.
Well, again, I think it was against Celta Vigo, if my memory serves me right. We saw a Messi Antonio Griezmann's combination that resulted. Debated a bit about saying that, but I wanted to say that I dare say that Lionel Messi is bigger than Ronald Koeman as the manager of Barcelona at this point. As a player of Barcelona, rather, is bigger than the manager of the club at this level. Victor, stop being funny. So that's just about it. And when you are the leader of the team, Victor is being dramatic.
Wait till you talk big.
Pardon me. Just pardon me, guys. Victor is really dramatic. And the funny thing is that it's just directly opposite. So I can't take my eyes off whatever drama he's putting on.
And he brought out money from his wallet. Like what he was going to say, that's the way he talked. Collect and give him money.
Anyways, so that's just about it. So when you are the star figure for any team, whatever happens at that team they will always find a way to allude it to you because you're the star figure of the team. The issue between Lionel Messi and Antonio Griezmann has been there even before now. So the reporter wasn't wrong asking him the question. Probably the timing was wrong because, come on, the man is just coming in for a 15-hour trip. So you should spare him that. But there is one thing about reporters. I mean, we are on the job, aren't we? Any opportunity where you see to ask your question, guy, ask him. Because you know how far you could be later. Whether you could see him again, ask him, hey. And Messi emptied his frustration. But he's the fulcrum of Barcelona, and 90% of what happens at Barca, maybe from the playing point of view, revolves around Lionel Messi. You understand? So you can understand where those questions are coming from and where the man feels that, I'm tired of being the problem of the club and all that. So he should understand that as a star figure of the team, many of the things, the blame, the praising. Recall when we talked about what led Barcelona, or who led Barcelona to Champions League semi-final against Liverpool in the first place. Who led them that season to the semis in the first place? Who was mentioned? It wasn't the coach. I think Higgins was the manager then. He wasn't the coach. It was Lionel Messi. About why when Antoine Griezmann, from the beginning of Antoine Griezmann's career, probably because he wanted what's his name now, Neymar Jr., for that signing, but the hierarchy of the club went for it. It's not like it's some me. Lionel Messi will likely leave Barca at the end of this season. Lionel Messi, that report you read that said that Josep Bartomeu could have been ruled in his favor, understanding that there was a pandemic and force majeure situation enveloped so many things at that point. So probably Messi would have won in court and leave the team. It was a Lionel Messi who stopped himself from leaving Barcelona at that point. So everything at this moment is pointing fingers toward that Lionel Messi will likely leave Barca at the end of this season.
I think if there was anything of a bad relationship between him and Antoine Griezmann, I think Messi was trying to correct that impression with that game against Real Betis. And I think we should also understand that players are humans as much as they are professionals. This is a man that had a very close relationship with Neymar Jr. and of course Luis Suarez. It's been that close. It wasn't even as close a relationship off the pitch as we saw on the pitch with Xavi, Iniesta and Messi, the famous triangle. Bimodal triangle now, they called it those days. You get in there and you're lost for life. But he moved on to that relationship between himself, Neymar and Suarez. And like I said, as much as these persons are professionals, they also have their lives outside of the pitch. And you can't take away that side of them, their social life, that friendship he shared with Neymar and Suarez. Griezmann came into that picture. Coutinho even came in. And it was obvious that Messi didn't share the kind of relationship he had with Suarez and even Neymar, with Coutinho and Antoine Griezmann. So I think he was trying to, ease off that pressure. Messi had... People always say he's a man with a good heart because of some of the things he does sometimes. You remember what he did with Suarez when Suarez was on a goal drought and then he passed the penalty to him. And he did exactly the same thing with Griezmann. Not a penalty this time, but he had a chance to score that goal. Griezmann had a terrible first half. At some point...
Missed the penalty.
Exactly. At some point, Brightwaite was even wasn't told to be jogging, getting warmed up. Somewhere around the 35th minute thereabout. That's to tell you how terrible Griezmann was in that first half. Messi came in that second half, turned the game on its head, and then he had a chance to score, but he picked out Griezmann just to take off that shame, that pressure off his shoulders, and let the man get back to reckoning. That is a sign that he's ready to work with Griezmann. So I think they should ease him off that press. And I can understand why the man is tired, because it can't always be about
can't always be him.
And at this point, the responsibility of the club when it's to what they do on the pitch rest mishaps here and there. It's like people are trying to orchestrate the downfall of Messi, and that's why the man is not happy. He might just end up leaving at the end of the day.
All right. Victor. Well, Atletico Madrid will go 9 points clear of Barcelona if they win. But Diego Simeone's side are yet to beat the Catalans in La Liga since 2010. That is a decade already. According to Simeone, he says every Suarez will be denied the chance to face his former club after he tested positive for COVID-19 alongside Uruguayan teammate Lucas Torreira. So Simeone added, we are in a moment in the world in which it can happen, and it has happened to us. Nathaniel, would this finally be the game that Atletico Madrid get the better of Barca in the La Liga? 10 years since they last won the Catalan Giants.
Well, first of all, it's quite somehow, maybe, how am I going to put it?
But have you beaten Barca in the Champions League?
Yes, but when it comes to La Liga,
inside life.
Since 20 basically. But it's just a pity that Suarez won't be in this game to face.
I've been looking forward to
Yes,
the bromance.
The same way I was looking forward to Cristiano Ronaldo facing Lionel Messi when Juventus played Barca. And COVID-19 two times now.
He must do the leg. You know that one, sir.
It's quite really somehow, a man that sent him away from.
That would have been the highlight.
Yeah, that would have been the highlight. I wish.
How come nobody's even talking about Griezmann going back to?
It's true.
It's not fire. It's not fire.
Oh, wow.
It's not fire.
Griezmann.
But anyways, in as much as Barcelona, they little bit not stable this period. Some kind of little bit injury and all that.
Yeah.
But looking at Atletico Madrid also, they've been gripped with a lot of injuries also. Suarez won't be there, Carrasco won't be there, Herrera that has been an integral part of that team. Also Lucas Torreira that came from Arsenal, and with all of a couple of players, about 6 to 7 players won't be available. But you can't just take it out from taking away from the Barcelona side. They've been brilliant. They've been doing kind of Lionel Messi stuff.
When we come back from this short commercial break, we will talk some more about the Spanish La Liga and then talk about the golden boy. His name is Erling Braut Haaland. Stay with us.
Let me tell you about a sure way to meet your basic needs. Yes, with NextGen Signature, you can now meet your basic needs within a reality. Next Fee, you can now pay your fees with ease. And also Next Start, you can start that business and become your own boss. All you need to do, decide what your needs or projects are. Decide when you want this project or need to be met. We can help you reduce the cost of your project by 25% in 3 months, 50% in 6 months, and 75% in 1 year. For more inquiries, call 0703 NextGen Signature, powered by NextGen Media and Infotech.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
De las glorias deportivas que campean por España, va el Madrid con su bandera, Guadalid, caballero del honor, a la Madrid.
Mönchengladbach are playing out a goalless draw as well with Augsburg. Bayern Munich, Werder Bremen, same scoreline, goalless. Hoffenheim versus Stuttgart. It is the same there, yet to produce a goal. Wolfsburg have put one past Schalke 04, so it is 1-0 in favor of Wolfsburg, while Eintracht Frankfurt to take on RB Leipzig. By 6:30 p.m. and by 8:30 it will be Hertha Berlin. The game between Takefusa Kubo, Mori, Nino, Nacho, Rafa Varane, and Mendy make the 4-man backline. Yes, Sergio Ramos would not be starting this one. The 3-man midfield sees Modric, Cruz, and Martin Odegaard.
Particularly disturbed about that forward line. I don't know how the goals are going to come because this is a Villarreal side that expands the pitch.
They are second on the La Liga table.
They've been doing well this season, and they play very much like Barcelona. They are a possessive side, and it might be worrisome for Real Madrid on the one hand, and on the other hand, it could be a blessing in disguise because Zidane's men are dangerous on the break. They are a very direct side when it comes to playing football, and that could be detrimental to Villarreal. But I think overall, it's a proper setup from Villarreal now. Have the complement of virtually all their players. Coquelin is on the bench, crying out loud. So it's that kind of a good setup for Villarreal against a depleted side from Real Madrid. So Real Madrid will have to find life, and that midfield doesn't inspire so much confidence. Yes, there is Luka Modric, but then at no longer there, you have an right,
which he scored 28 goals in 22 matches. He scored 8 times as the Austrian side crashed out of the Champions League in the group stages. He then scored a hat-trick on his Champions League debut, as well as goals in each of his first 5 outings, and became the competition's highest scoring teenager in a single season. The 20-year-old continued his incredible form with another treble on his Dortmund's bow, which helped Lucien Favre's side come from 3-1 down to beat Augsburg 5-3. Well, Haaland finished the...
I don't know if I'm the only Coleman that time, but he did so well. At some point, he was the poster boy of that team, on and off the pitch. He's very famous on Instagram, by the way, and also on Snapchat.
And TikTok.
And TikTok, yeah. He has a way of putting up those dramas every time.
Alphonso Davies.
Yeah.
And on YouTube. Yeah, he does
Exactly,
one. He has a channel for himself and his girlfriend. She plays for PSG.
Yeah, he's a sucker for social media like that. So, but I think generally, I was quite maybe not so pleased with that. But I know recency effect always has a way of playing in these things. And Safati recently has been the better player when you compare him with Alphonso Davies in the past.
Davies is even injured.
So that you put those things together, most times when these awards are given, this recency effect gets a way to play in your head because you want to vote and Safati just comes into your head. The first thing you think about is, oh, he was just the youngest player for Spain. So there you go. He scored how many goals for Barcelona? He's been doing well in the past. But you now forget what Alphonso Davies has done for Bayern last season. From January to May, when he eventually won the Champions League, or June now, he was actually their most, valuable asset in defense. He was so instrumental in them going forward. Felt like Trent Alexander-Arnold, what we saw from him that season when they won the Champions League, that's from a Liverpool perspective now. It was beautiful football from Davies. He came in, if you remember, he was one of the reasons why they got that goal against Sevilla in that Super League, UEFA Super League game that they got that 1-0 victory against Sevilla. They had to take him coming on. The coach had to risk him because he had a knock and he was not too fit, but he had to risk him and bring him in and come on. He was instrumental in them getting that goal. So that's the shocker for me that he didn't finish in second. But like I said, recency effects gets to play a role in this thing, and maybe that will just ease the shocker. But I would have expected Alphonso Davies to finish in second.
All right, so another award. This time the FIFA's The Best Award ceremony will now take place on the 17th of December, where successors to Lionel Messi and Megan Rapinoe will be announced. The winners are voted by the national team captains and coaches, 200 for journalists, as well as an online ballot of fans. There are prizes of the best men's and women's player, the best coach, the best goalkeeper, the best 11, the best goal, as well as the best fan. The 11-man shortlist for the best FIFA men's player of the year will be compiled by a panel of experts representing various FIFA and external football stakeholders and will be reviewed this time next week. On the 26th of November.
They should just jump and give their vote to Lewandowski. There's no need.
I was just about to
just carry that.
Is it a no-brainer that Lewandowski would win this one?
For sure. Who else? Who else in Europe?
Except you want to give Misha. I'll collect it.
There's no one else. I don't think there's anybody else that will compete.
Somehow the Ballon d'Or escaped Lewandowski. He's still pained.
He will manage FIFA the best.
He will manage FIFA the best. Yeah. There is no one else.
It depends on the type of change.
In the season under review that did better than Lewandowski out of the world.
In his position,
blew everybody away in his position. Yeah.
Generally,
in fact,
this position.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a way we could compare these things. Now, I'm gonna have to warn you, Priye, don't bring in something else into my head. Allow me to concentrate on what I'm talking about. So there's no one else. Victor, there's no one else.
There's no one else.
There's no one else.
I beg to disagree, because I feel if you look at that Bayern München team critically, you cannot take out the exploit of Thiago Alcantara.
You just want to come and appreciate Thiago Alcantara. But when it comes to this award, there's no one else.
Thiago is an incredible player, and I think it's high time always respect different positions in football, not the player that comes up with so much glamour because he gets the goals. You cannot talk about the exploit of that Bayern München team without talking about what Thiago do.
So you feel Thiago would win the best award?
I feel he's supposed to be. Like,
he might be among the first 11.
If you're making a case for Thiago, why not Mane Noah?
Mane Noah is also a candidate. So that's why I feel as a person. That's why I said. In his position, I said in his position he is definitely one of the best. But you cannot take out the contribution of players like Thiago Alcantara. You cannot take out the contribution of the goalkeeper Neuer, who was actually instrumental for their Champions League victory.
Right. Guys, we'll be doing our own. They're yet to release the list, the short list. So we're just going to be doing ours. The best men, starting with Chidubem.
Like the best player or the best?
Yeah, the best player, the best men player.
Lewandowski, no?
Lewandowski,
for sure.
Lewandowski. This is not a prediction. It's just not prediction.
I've said it 1,000 times.
The best goalkeeper,
Alcantara.
Manonor.
I'll go with that Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper. What was his name? Casillas?
Navas. Manonor. Okay. The best coach.
It has to be Hansi Flick.
Hansi Flick all the way.
Hansi Flick. Why is the best women's player?
I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know. I don't follow the women's league that much.
I think it's going to be Penny Harder.
Yeah, could be. I think
plays for Chelsea now.
She won that of
the UEFA. Yeah,
UEFA.
That's one Lewandowski won as well.
But I think talking about individual contributions too. Why nobody's talking about Lionel Messi? Because Barca had a bad season. But Lionel Messi had a very good season for Barcelona.
No one is talking about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Ronaldo didn't have a good season for Juve
with 50 with over something goals.
Messi was the top goal scorer last I checked. He was also the top assist provider.
2020.
What Euro Immobile?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne.
If you want to talk about goals and stats, come on.
So I think we can't rule out the fact that what you achieve with your club is a huge determinant, and that's why Pierre is even talking about Thiago Alcantara and not talking about Kevin De Bruyne.
All right. Well, let's get back to the phone lines before we leave the studios. We've talked about so much, so let's get your thoughts. The phone lines are open once more. 0817 0000951 0810 9510 951. Take it again, this time slower. 0817 0000951, or you can hit us on the other number. It is 0810 9510 951. Our text message portal is still very open. You can send in your messages to the number 0701 933 9962. Before we leave today, let's just give you a rundown of what happened yesterday in the French Ligue 1 as Monaco came from 2 goals down to end PSG's 8-match winning streak in the Ligue 1, moving second with a stunning victory.
Hello,
let's hear from the scholar. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
What's your name? Where are you calling us from?
My name is Onyeka.
Welcome, Onyeka.
Talking about the best manager.
Yeah.
I go for RB Leipzig manager.
Julian Nagelsmann.
Considering the quality of players you have, but he managed to take them to the semi-final. I think that is also a huge process.
All right. Thank you so much, Onyeka. I want to say you can argue that, but when you look at it side by side with what Hansi Flick did, does he really stand a chance? Well, the phone lines are still open. Let's hear from the scholar. Hello, Today Sports Live. Hello. Well, silent caller, please call us back when you can talk. Okay, well, yesterday PSG's Kylian Mbappe scored 2 first-half goals on his return from injury, but Monaco came out transformed after the break as Kevin Volland scored twice past Keylor Navas in 14 second-half minutes. Serge Fabregas completed the comeback after Abdou Diallo gave away a penalty and saw a red card 6 minutes from time. PSG were dominant in the first half, scoring twice and having a further 2 goals disallowed as Moise Kean and Mbappe were both denied by the offside flag. But Fabregas' halftime arrival completely altered the dynamic of the game, and PSG struggled to cope with the Spaniards' accomplished passing. They had conceded just 1 goal in 8 league games prior to the game, but were not at their best against the 2016-2017 League All winners, despite the return of attacking trio Mbappe, Neymar, and Moise Kean. Hello, good afternoon.
Please give us rundown of scoreline in Europe.
What's your name? Okay, you didn't give us your name.
That has been done before, by the way.
We've done that already. I would have done that, but you didn't give us your name, so we'll wait till the second half. Well, guys, Lions, did you see that match? Monaco versus PSG.
I didn't particularly see the match. I didn't see it, but from the report I gathered and a couple of highlights I've seen, I think it was a clear performance of a dictator from Czech Fabregas. Distributing the passes, having had to make the PSG players wonder about, try to catch up the how shall I put it now, the pace of the younger players that was fielded in by Monaco. It's something that you must give credit to Serge Fabregas for.
All right, let's get back to the phone lines to hear from some more callers.
Yeah. It's good from you, but good from you. Ronda.
Okay. I'll give it to you now. You called.
He had to call back.
That ticket is priceless.
Well, we'll be giving you the rundown of that. Reliance to get that ready while we hear from some more callers. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What's your name?
Chukwu Ebuka is my name.
Chukwu Ebuka, you're welcome.
For the best player in Europe, let me just give. It's more like an appreciation. I know he will never win. Kingsley Coman, that guy is very. Yes, I think he's very good. Very, very good.
He was out injured for a while.
Yeah. I know. He was injured and he came back. I think he's one guy that I don't know. The hype is not always around him, but when I watch him, he's so skillful. He's just a very good player. And judging the clubs he has played for, I think he's a very fantastic player at a very young age. Very, very fantastic player. He will not win, but it's more like an appreciation nomination.
All right. Thank you so much, Onyeka, says Kingsley Coman.
Well, I wonder why people are not talking about Gnabry.
It wasn't an outstanding season. Yes. It was a very good season, but not outstanding.
Well, let's hear from the scholar. Hello, good afternoon. Hello.
Hello, my name is I'm calling from Zoba.
You're welcome. Let's hear from you.
This Victor Osimhen, did he not make the top 10?
He didn't make the top 10. He was part of the top 40, but he didn't make top 10.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Well, I know Nigerians will always ask for their own. We just have to do that. Children, let's take some messages.
3 messages coming from one person. That's Bad Commando. He says, first, Chidubem said we should watch out for João Felix. Atletico should also watch out for Dembele because he has hit form. Okay, we'll be watching out for him. For me, it's Messi. Abego. I'm sure he's talking about the best player. 20 plus goals and 20 plus assists is not easy. And he goes on to say Abou Diallo is not a good player. He tackles senselessly. Talking about the man who got sent off for Paris Saint-Germain yesterday in that game against Monaco.
4 matches in the English Premier League. One just concluded. Newcastle were defeated 2-0 by Chelsea. Other ones are yet to take place. Aston Villa will be taking on Brighton and Hove Albion. Tottenham Hotspur will be taking on Manchester City. West Bromwich Albion will play away to Manchester United. In the Spanish La Liga, just one match concluded. Levante played at a 1-0 draw with Elche. Villarreal will take on Real Madrid by 4:15. And then later, Sevilla will take on Celta Vigo, while Barcelona will travel to take on Atletico de Madrid. In the German Bundesliga, some matches are ongoing at the moment, and Arminia Bielefeld are playing the Bayern draw against Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich taking on Werder Bremen is still goalless in that center. Borussia Mönchengladbach are defeating Augsburg 1-0, while Hoffenheim are playing a 1-0 draw against VfB Stuttgart. Schalke 04 are being defeated 2-0 by Wolfsburg, and Eintracht Frankfurt will take on Rosenborg Sport Leipzig later, while Hertha Berlin will play host to Borussia Dortmund much later. In the Italian Serie A, one match ongoing. It's halftime between Crotone and Lazio. Lazio are defeating Crotone by 1-0. Spezia will play host to Atalanta later this evening, and Juventus will play host to Cagliari much later. In the French League 1, we are expecting just a match because the match involving Marseille and Nice has been postponed, but Brest will take on Saint-Etienne much later in the day.
Well, in the German Bundesliga, it's actually 2-1 for Stuttgart versus Hoffenheim. 2-1 it is, and 29 minutes of action gone. Well, this is where we draw the curtains on this marathon edition of today's Sports Live. We have been here from 1 p.m. and right now we will be leaving the studio for the second half substitutes. The guys will be coming in. Wisdom Obina, Priye Izobu, as well as Osas. They will be here to talk basically Nigerian football. Of course, they will be keeping an eye out for you on the games still going on in Europe. My name is Victor Oriahi. Many thanks to Reliable Reliance, to Nathaniel Igeri, and of course to Chidubem Joseph Njoku, who were with me in the studio.
Never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Waiting they happen, waiting they share, we want no. Shana winch, I've been landing, no matter their plan, no, we go still they fly. Walele, 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 where you do? Walele, my brother, where you do? Walele, walele, where you do? Walele, my brother, where you do? Walele, I can't leave you, tell me where you do. If need make you tell me where you do. Aye, Benny, make you tell me where you do. Tijani, make you tell me where you do. Ataribo, make you tell me where you do. Ayobo, make you tell me where you do. Papilo, make you tell me where you do. Erike Jofo, make you tell me where you do. Walele, walele, where you do? Yeah, oh, my brother, where you do? Say walele, walele, where you do? My brother, where you do? Okocha, make you tell me where you do. I got wonder, make you tell me where you do. Okorunko, make you tell me where you do. Sigaruba, make you tell me where you do. Olise, make you tell me where you do. Udeze, make you tell me where you do. Ike Shorumu, make you tell me where you do. Akuwegu, make you tell me where you do. Ayosi Kenya, say where you do. Ababa Yaru, make you tell me where you do. Ujiwe, make you tell me where you do. Our super eagles, I say where una do. Walele, walele, where you do? My brother, where you do? I say walele, walele, where you do? Lele, oh, my brother, where you do? Walele, dodorima, go, 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 dodorima, dodorima, go, 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 dodorima, dodorima. Waiting, winning our culture. Because some management can come begin disorganized. So they Liberia, Sudan, and even small Sierra Leone and Senegal come begin form Goliath for David like Nigeria. But thank God, the times today, don't just one shake for so that we go really come down to prepare for the bigger competition. No shaking, the word na caution. What day she go down Wali Akota. Now today, now let us rewind to 1980 where the Super Eagles really started the show. I beg Lagbaja. 1980 nations cup. I remember Nigeria winning you. I no go forget the German Chuku. I no go forget the Lionel Kala. Mudala Walo, you did again. Kale, rest in peace, you.
Well, a beautiful evening to you. Welcome to the second half of today's Sports Live, reaching you from the studios of Premium Talk News and Sports Radio Station, Today 95.1 FM. Well, it's the marathon edition, and we've had the first part where the guys did bring you updates as it concerns European football. They did talk about it, not just updates. We'll be bringing you updates from this side when it comes to what is going on in England, in Spain, in Germany, and what have you. But that's not why we're here. Basically, we are here to talk Nigerian football. A lot going on, really. Rivers United, they've been in pre-season for a while now from the Governor Wike Cup. They've continued. And Stanley Eguma, after their game against Gateway FC, did come out to say that they are nearing peak conditions for the continent, or, of course, ahead of that game on the continent. And the big question is the pre-season tournaments. Yes, it's been back-to-back. It's been different games and what have you. Otasolo, the MPFL sides. Is it enough to get Rivers United in shape for the continent? Let's not forget, as Dolphins FC in 2005, they were able to get to the Confederations Cup final. Can they actually do better than what they did as Rivers United the last time they were on the continent? Amaju Pinnick is on the show this afternoon, and he says there is no basis for the sack of Gernot Rohr. Yes, there is no reason for that. Even as we saw lots of ex-internationals from Wednesday to Friday, even to today, calling for the sack of Gernot Rohr. including the likes of Shego Degbami, Yakuba Igbeni, Joseph Akpobri, Daniel Amokachi, and the others. And we'll be asking you also, of course, we'll be opening the phone lines in due time for you to air your opinion. On Twitter, we are Today FM 951. On Twitter, we are Today FM 951. My handle is at wisdom_OB. Emeka is here. His handle is at Dena Emeka. Priye is also here. His handle is at Priye PZ. Osas is here. His handle is as Osas_demigod.
Yeah, demigod.
Okay, and we'll be reading your tweet real time here on the show. You can send in your SMSs to our SMS portal. It's 0701 9339 962. Rivers United, of course, you're a Rivers United fan. The big question is, what are they going to be doing on the continent? The Super Eagles also, should Genotro stay or should he go, has always been the question now, ever since we drew against the second draw now against Sierra Leone in Freetown. But Amaju Pinnick is saying there is no reason whatsoever at this point to sack Genotro. But I'm not alone in the building. I don't walk alone. I've got Priye PZ from my left. Priye, welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Superman. It's always great to talk Nigerian football, and especially when it comes to our managerial position, because right now I think it's in big contention, and also the preparation for the Rivers United team in the continent. Let's see how that will pan out.
All right, Osas is here. Osas, welcome to the show.
Yeah, yeah. Good evening, Superman, and good evening to everyone out there. Good evening, Port Harcourt. Good evening to all sports fans around the city, around the nation, and around the globe. It's quite beautiful again to talk local and Nigerian sports.
The Odogu one of sports, Buruburu. We'll go around the country. Emeka Dena joins us here today. Emeka, welcome to the show.
Superman, good evening to you, and good evening to our listeners out there. It's always a pleasure to be here to talk Nigerian football. We are getting ready. The league will soon start. 6th of December, we are told, and the teams are all busy. In Aba is the Governing Bazo Cup, and even playing Sister Club Abia Warriors in the final today. Rivers United getting set for continental assault. And what more can you say? We have long called for the head of Genotro, but Pinnick, who employed him, says no. We'll wait to see how that will pan out there.
All right, and definitely we would be starting off from here.
Whether you call him Kanu, Abina Kunu, you like you call him Kenu, Abina Jugunu.
Hello, my name is Kanu Wanko, aka Papilo. For the latest and trending sports stories, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM Port Harcourt.
Yeah, we have started preparing.
There are a few areas that define a man, like sports.
I think we can live with that.
This one's first.
All right, and of course, it's still Today's Sports Live. And quickly, we tee off with Rivers United. I was trying to confirm their dates there. All right, Rivers United gaffer Stanley Guma believes his team is nearing peak condition and getting into their stride as they get set to kick off their season with a trip to Futuro Kings in the CAF Confederations Cup. United get their 2020-2021 campaign off at the Minos Futuro Kings on Friday, 27th or thereabout November, in the first leg of the preliminary round of the Confederations Cup, and are expected to advance to the next round at the expense of the debutants who were founded just 3 years ago. However, with the restrictions now lifted, the Guma side are working to make up for lost time and have been attempting to get to speed at the Governor Dakbo Abiodun preseason tournament, where they defeated Gateway FC 2-0 on Friday. Speaking after the win, the former Enyimba assistant coach said he was happy with the conditioning and improving chemistry of his players and believes everything will fall into place soon.
Yeah, we have started preparation in NS. Just like you have seen today, it's part of our preparation to make sure that the players are match fit. The COVID-19 did not help matters. It made us not to start very early, but so far so good. We thank God that we have gone so far. As we are today, the players are beginning to understand themselves gradually, and I believe that in a very short time we will.
The coronavirus pandemic might have conspired to deprive Rivers United of the ideal preseason, but the same cannot be said about their transfer market dealings, which has been impressive. A raft of signings headlined by the stunning capture of Nigerian internationals and former Enyimba duo Theophilus Afeluhai and Ifeanyi Anemena on free transfers. The signings were seen as a statement of intent from a team without a trophy since their transformation to Rivers United in 2016. And a coach whose last trophy came nearly a decade ago when he led the defunct Dolphins FC to the league title in 2011. And Eguma, who led Rivers United to the group stages of the Confederation Cup in 2017, confirmed their target for the season is to ensure a two-pronged attack on the league and the Confederations Cup.
Our main aim is to build a strong team that will represent well in the MPFL and the CAF Confederation Cup competition. So those are our main aim, our main target. But however, along the line, if we have opportunity to pick the trophy, well, I think we will appreciate that.
All right, if we have the opportunity to pick the trophy, we will appreciate that. But the main aim is to mount a solid front on the two trophies now, the Confederations Cup and, of course, the league title. I'll start with you, Pri. More preseason engagements for Rivers United. Do you agree with the coach that they are nearing peak conditions?
He knows his players, and most of these players are there with him previous season. He got some new players, and he knows the strength of his team, definitely. But if you look at as a neutral or a fan of the club, you critically look at the conditions post-COVID-19, you understand that he still needs to do a lot when it comes to the fitness and the overall chemistry of the team. It's beyond just playing few friendly games. And I always say this, when you want to compete in the continent, you need to play other teams outside your country to understand the way they play, understand the weather and all. So I think Rivers United should be thinking about playing outside Nigeria, because definitely the weather condition in East Africa is quite different from West Africa, quite different from northern part of Africa. So I think it's about moving out of the comfort zone, because you can actually do well at home, but it's about your away form, and that should be important for the manager if he wants to do very well in this competition. It's about organizing some preseason or actually engaging some teams outside West Africa, so you can actually build on the fitness and the weather conditions. They can understand the weather condition going into this competition if they really want to compete and go far in the CAF Confederations Cup.
All right, Osas, playing Gateway FC, Otasolo, some other MPFL sides, and going from one preseason to another after 7 months, is it enough preparation for the continent?
It's definitely not enough preparation for the continent, because presently, right now, nothing is actually enough when it comes to building your team for a tournament like the preliminary stage of the CAF Confederations Cup. Nothing is actually enough, but you just have to make do with what you have. And the man has spoken it. He has actually said that the team is in top gear right now. I believe the spirit of the players are even very high. I was reading an extract from the captain of the team a few days back, where he said the team spirit is already high. Looking at the names they've got, Afeluhai, Anemena, Aguda, and the rest. These are great achievers coming into this particular season, and the players are trying to build on what they've achieved and use it as a positive push for themselves to do better. So I think everything is working in place for him right now.
All right, once again, you can join us. We'll open the phone lines in due time, but the text message portal is 0701 9339 962. Send in your text messages. I'll be reading it real time here on the show. Let me come to the Udogu One of Sports. Emeka, Rivers United have done fine business in this season transfer window. Would this be enough to improve their outing on the continent and in the league this season? He said they are looking at the two titles. They want to make sure they are prepared or fit enough to compete on both fronts now without maybe falling short. Will Ifeanyi Anemena, Theophilus Afeluhai, Godwin Aguda, the other names, will they be enough to change Rivers United's fortunes on the continent, or at least improve what they had the performance they had in 2017?
Superman, there's the precedence already, like you pointed out. In 2017, they played in the CAF Champions League. Things didn't go down well with them in that competition. They got knocked out from the Champions League, they dropped down to the Confederation Cup, and they equally did not go past the group stage in the Confederation Cup. I remember when they finished second behind Rangers in 2016. Rangers won the league. They finished second on the final day. After that, what happened? They went to Spain for 10-day preseason tournament. Trip right there in Spain, tour of Spain, as it were, sponsored by the state governor. Even the coach had what they call a refresher course. In Serbia, he even left Spain and went to Serbia for a refresher course after the preseason tournament here in Spain. So to tell you that they were getting ready for the new season. And what happened in the summer of that season? They bought a lot of quality players in the league. Emeka Odomegu came in. The likes of Emeka Ubu also came in. John Odomegu, sorry, not Emeka Odomegu. John Odomegu, Emeka Ubu, Bolaji Sakin, who is now with AC Horoya, came in. They brought in so many quality players, ahead of the new season because they knew they were going to compete in the CAF Champions League. Then that's exactly what they have done this season as well. Look at the names they have brought in: Bobby Clement, Godwin Agoda, Ifeanyi Nemena, George Akpabio, Destiny Ashadi, the young star from Katsina United, did quite well last season. Even the previous season, very brilliant player. They were able to bring him over to Port Harcourt, and it doesn't guarantee success. Let's not make any mistake about it. Max influx of players does not really guarantee success, especially when you don't have enough time to blend the team ahead of the competitions you're going into. Now, look at Rivers United, Governor Wike Cup here. They were playing football matches every other day. That's the same thing they are doing over there, in the West now, in the Governor Dapo Abiodun Cup in Ejebode. They played the day they arrived. Their first game against Mendel Insurance, they managed to win. They played against Gateway yesterday. They won. They are playing today, as we speak right now. They are on the field against Warriors. 3 matches in 3 days. I mean, you can't get the best of any team that way. We want matches to come, but not in such manner. So a coach cannot feed the same team for 3 consecutive matches. No way. It doesn't happen that way. So what he does is to see how he can rotate the team. Get to give some other players a chance. But ordinarily, if you have to be in league situations, even if you're playing one match after every 3 days, you want to also feel the same thing because you go with your strongest team so that you want 3 points that are at stake. You're going for competitions like the CAF Confederation Cup now against Fuchuro Kings. So you can't be doing such. You go with your strongest team. Now, how do you even blend this strongest team? Do you even know the strongest team with what you have done so far? It's difficult to even knock the team into shape with the kind of arrangement we have on hand right now because there is no time. The league is not on yet. You're going to play in the CAF Confederation Cup. So all these quality players you're bringing in from here and there, yes, they are brilliant in their own. They have done quite well in the other clubs, but look at what they did there. They stayed some time before they were able to become part of the winning squads in the previous clubs. Enyimba, you talk of Anemena and Afelokai. This guy spent 4, 5, 6 years at Enyimba. You go to Rangers, or where you had Godwin Agoda. Yes, he played there. He was part of the league winning side in 2016. Himself and Bobby Clement, they formed that decent partnership in front. If you add the other two, talking about Obin Nawobodo and the other guy, there are 4 of them. We call them Kane then, if you recall. So this guy spent some time there. They were able to win. No, it doesn't translate into winning immediately that you brought these guys from far away. We have done it before, 2016, 2017. We saw all sorts of players in Port Harcourt here. But after one season, when they got eliminated, they virtually left and all that. So, but let's see how it pounds out there. I'm not against getting quality players, but man, you don't overhaul your team because you're going to play in the CAF Confederation Cup. You don't bring in all the names in Nigeria to come and play for your side because you want to play in the CAF Confederation Cup. It doesn't really work that way. A lot of times it's counterproductive, like we've seen. This is a competition that no Nigerian club has been able to win before. Yeah. Not even Rivers United. As Dolphins, they go to the final. Yes, no, but come on. They Armed Forces of Morocco. Exactly. They were beaten 3-1 on aggregate. 1-0 in Port Harcourt here. Bahama 3-0 over there in Morocco. So it's difficult for Nigerian teams on the continent there. Even the Enyimbas of this world there. So it's something the Nigerian teams usually do. At the end of the season, because you have qualified for the continent, you release 15 players and bring in another 15 because you want to go and play in the continent. You feel these guys are experienced. They have played for some other clubs in the MPFL on the continent. They have the experience and all that. But you have forgotten that you can't change the spine of the team, because you want to play on the continent. So I think it's something we should learn from going forward. It's a brilliant idea to get quality players in your team, but not at the expense of destroying teamwork, team chemistry. You have built something already to even help you qualify.
And now
you're
focusing
now
on
you want to start building
now.
again. You want to start building. Because you have so many good players in the league, you can afford them. You can pay them 800,000 or 1 million naira a month and all that. You want to destroy what you have built already. By bringing in a lot of players, and you have limited time to knock them into a winning side there. I don't think it's a wonderful idea to bring a lot of players at the same time. It doesn't guarantee success, Superman. The Continentals will soon start. We'll see how it will pan out there. I wish them good luck. Enyimba, Rivers United, Kano Pillars and Plateau United, I wish all of them good luck. But if you listen to the Kano Pillars coach, the Plateau United coach, Abdul Mekaba, the man didn't go for mass recruitment.
Yeah.
The man says he's keeping at least 60-70% of his team, and bring in a few legs here and there. That is the way to go, because you have a team already on ground. Because Manchester United qualified to play in the UEFA Champions League does not mean they will go and buy Mbappe, buy this, buy that, buy that. With limited time, it doesn't work that way. It's something we should learn from here too. But I understand that some of these clubs, the sporting directors, the managers, they see it as a means of also making money for themselves. Because somehow, when you have an agent bringing a player for you, somehow you get some cuts, and when these players are signed and what have you, it's the racket kind of arrangement. Teams look forward to qualifying for the continent in Nigeria so that they can make more money for themselves. It's just the ugly truth about it.
All right, let me come back to you, Priye. Emeka talked about what has been of serious concern to me, the fact that they play every single day in some of these preseason tournaments. Now, we're going to be seeing a case, because I played football from primary, secondary. No. I am not going to pretend that I am the legend of anywhere. I didn't play anywhere. But grassroots football, secondary school and what have you, even university. One problem was you get tired when you finish playing. You need at least 1 or 2 days for your muscles to rest. It's not always easy playing, even if they rotate the team now. Don't you think, coupled with the 7 months absence, we might just be heading for a period where we'll now be hearing AA got injured, BBB also got injured, so it's going to affect our performances. What do you think? How much of an effect will this be on the team, knowing that they will be resuming top gear after playing on Friday in just less than 10 days time or so, or even 11 days time? The MPFL kicks out on the 6th of December. You're probably thinking of playing that one also and managing also the games on the continent.
I wonder who actually draws out this and schedule for these competitions, because for me, you need time for the players to actually recuperate and then get themselves fit for the next game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Imagine, let's say Europe, Jose's team, they played 4 games in 12 days, and he complained. He was shouting, how did Eric Dyer come out of those games and play the 4 of them? Then imagine the player, maybe you're actually building your team around 5 or 6 key players, and you've played them for like 3 games in 3 days. It is impossible in normal ground for those players to be fit totally. I think it's quite dangerous for the health of the players when it comes to their muscles and all. I think they really need time to rest and get their complete fitness. So it's a problem. It's a problem going forward, because there's a whole lot for the Rivers United side. You don't force games just because you want your team to be shaped. You just have to take it bit by bit, gradual process. Especially when it comes to major competitions that you're actually aiming at, you have to build the team slowly. And I think the biggest issue they're having is the mass recruiting. And when you recruit a lot of players, you need them to play games. You need them to know each other. And I think maybe that was one of the reasons why I think they'll be playing some of these players, so that they can actually understand what it means to play for Rivers United. But apart from that, I think it's a no-brainer. It doesn't make any sense to me, because you endanger the players' health. And beyond that, injuries will come in, and it will still affect the manager. So for me, in the long run, I think people that actually arrange this schedule needs to work properly, look at the mental, the physical and strength of these players, so it will not affect them going forward, because this is just a preseason, for crying out loud.
All right, Osas, let me come to you now. We'll come to the positive side of things in a bit, but would there be excuses if Rivers United fail?
Definitely from this side of the country where we are, there are always excuses, even if you're giving everything 120% or 150%, there will always be excuses. It's, I think what they should do here is to look away from making excuses, because if you begin to look at making excuses, it will dampen your.
But is it avoidable? is it possible that you will not give excuses?
It's not possible.
Because looking at the conditions surrounding the team,
it's not possible. For me, it's not possible because whenever there is a failure, there is always someone to blame. There's always an excuse to give. But I think for proper success, they need to look away from even thinking of making excuses. Yes, the pandemic has taken its own chunk. Okay. Lack of funds has taken its own chunk. The ill preparation, physical preparation and physical fitness of players has also taken its own chunk. But they must look beyond all of this to be able to give the Rivers people and Nigeria as a whole a reason to smile, a reason to say yes, football is actually doing well even after these setbacks that we have actually experienced.
Okay, I think I'll confirm this. I think it might be 11th of December or so.
Superman, when you talk of excuses, are you saying that if they fail to win the competition, is that what you're saying?
No, not win.
No.
But we know what we'll judge as a good performance from Rivers United on the continent.
What will be a good performance for Rivers United? In the
it's relative though. But if they get to the final, they get to the semi-final, I don't think anybody will be angry.
Not at all.
They come back.
If they even advance to the group stages, to be brilliant stuff for the club as it were. But just like Osas pointed out, no matter how well you're prepared, given everything, once there's that failure, you always hinge it on something. Something must have caused it, And our friend Stanley Guma will tell you there's a loss of concentration at some point, if the result didn't go the way, So there could be 1,000,001 reasons, for that to happen, for results not to go your way. But for now, let's look at the positives. Let's go forward and say, let's believe
they brought in players.
Exactly.
They have quality.
Exactly. Because to whom much is given,
much is
expected. You don't spend those kind of monies they spend to bring some of these high-profile players. For a player like Anemena and Afelokai to agree to leave Enyimba to come to Rivers United,
to convince them,
then he must have spent hugely. Look at the quality of players they brought in: Godin Agoda, Bobby Clement. These are some of the players that have played football abroad. At some point, they went abroad, played. Maybe things didn't really work out well for them. They came back. George Akbabi was, at some point, one of the top scorers in the top flight here in the MPFL here back then. And Destiny Ashadi, a very brilliant player. And these players will not go for anything less than 600,000 naira every month. Nothing less than that. In terms of salary alone, not to talk of the match allowances, not to talk of their contract fees and what have you. So at the end of the day, you expect the team to do well, to represent the state well first, before even the country, because they are flying Nigeria's flag on the continent. Themselves, Enyimba, Plateau United, and Kano Pillars, they're playing on the continent. They're representing Nigeria there. And with the quality of recruitment they have made, talking about Rivers United specifically right now, then you expect them to go far in the competition. Going far will be at least reaching the group stages, where they can even make some monies for themselves. Because if you don't get to the group stage of the competition, you don't make anything. You get to the group stage, you win a match, unlike the Champions League where you get $10,000, in the Confederation Cup you get $5,000. Depending on your placement at the end of the day, where you finish on the group in terms of the opposition, you also make some money. You go to the quarterfinals, you're guaranteed hundreds of thousands of dollars. You go to the semifinals, you're guaranteed hundreds of thousands of dollars as well. If you get to the final, you're looking at millions of dollars now. Could be 1.5 million, as the case may be, depending on the prize money on offer and all that. But I know it's huge money when teams go to the continent. You see anybody the other time go to the semifinals, they made well over $400,000. So good news there, for any of them that eventually get to the money spinning stage. This money spinning stage is not the preliminary. It's not the first round. It's not the playoff. It's the group stage proper, where a goal counts for dollars. You score a goal for Confederation Cup, it's $500. For Champions League, it's $1,000 for each goal you score. So that's where they should get to first. Make the money, then think of qualifying for the knockout stages, eventually. By the way, Enyimba lead Abia in the final of the Governor Ibazu Cup by a goal to nothing. Also, that was scoring that one in the first half.
All right, Mecca, before I leave you now to... Okay?
Yeah, I really need to say this. Is it not misplaced priority when you spend so much in getting players, when chunk of the players actually qualified you for that competition, and beyond that, you can actually spend this money, rechannel this money towards a very, very organized preseason outside the country. What do I mean by outside the country? Not just maybe sending them on tourism in Europe or something. Play with other clubs within Africa so you can actually understand them. A typical example, definitely you meet a team in East Africa, let's say, or Central Africa. Now, you send your team to Kenya, maybe possibly for a preseason game. You move from there. The same team that actually qualified you the previous season, maybe just get a player or something, 2 players to strengthen the team. Then you move around the continent, so you understand what it means. These players understand what it means for them to play in that competition. Not bringing an already made player who actually don't understand your team, who will struggle to even play home matches. Why not play with core of these players? Instead of investing in getting new players, you invest in pre-seasons. I think that is what many Nigerian clubs should be throwing to us, because at the end of the day, you spend this money and the results will not come. The players will leave the next season, because now the contract thing is in Nigeria. Most times it's a year contract. They will leave the next season, and you come back to square one, start all over again. It doesn't make any sense. I think it's high time you start investing in preseason than just buying players at the end of the season.
The thing about preseason is that it doesn't guarantee you decent performance in the season.
So true. True.
I mean,
but
you can have a wonderful preseason, do quite well. Now look at the current season now. Due to the fact that COVID-19 affected the calendar last season, teams did not even go for lengthy preseasons. At the end of the day, you saw some teams play only 3 matches prior to the commencement of the current season we're having right now. But back then, when everything was normal, we saw teams who did well in preseason. A typical example would be Manchester United under Louis van Gaal, if you recall. They were winning all sorts of teams in the preseason. But when the season started, they started fumbling and all that. So it does not really guarantee you decent performance. Why teams, a lot of times, when you go qualify for competitions like the Champions League in Africa here or the Confederation Cup, you want to beef up your team. I mean, because you're going to a higher competition. Now look at, for instance, the Enyimbas of this world are struggling to compete favorably when they go to the continent. They struggle because North Africans have raised the bar to a very high level. Now what these teams do here, instead of, they know that their current team might not be good enough to challenge these other guys out there when they go to the continent. They try to beef up the team. They try to bring quality players, especially those with the experience of playing on the continent. They try to buy them, see how they can strengthen their own squad, because they know they are going for a higher competition. If you are a Rivers United, for instance, you're playing against Para United here in the MPFL. You're playing against Nasarawa United. But the opposition you will meet on the continent when you go to the latter stages, say for instance, you come up in the CAF Confederation Cup against Pyramids of Egypt, Horoya of Guinea. These guys are not Kwara United that you play daily here. These guys have both quality players. They have solid structure, and they can perform very brilliantly. So if you're not careful, you'll be disgraced. So that's why these teams usually want to beef up their squads when they qualify on the continent, because they know that the competition is higher right there. And if you don't do so, a lot of times you'll be knocked out quite easily, or you're humiliated, as it were. You remember what happened to MFM? Yes, when they finished second behind Plateau United in 2017. It was disastrous, on the continent. The Algerian side hammered them 6-1 away from home, and that was how it ended. Plateau United, who even won the league that same season, they were equally disgraced out on the continent. So at the end of the day, you have to strengthen your squad, so that you don't get humiliated first.
But for me, I think differently, because this same season, when they had limited time for preseason, many managers, I can remember like 4 or 5 Premier League managers complained about preseason not having good preseason games. Now they use the Premier League as their preseason. A typical example, Jose Mourinho, he complained in several press conferences like, we did not gel as a team because we don't have good preseason. Now you said exposing these players, you bring better players that have already played in the continent. If you have this preseason, these players already known the ideas, are playing around different stadiums. A typical example, you send them to Sudan. Now they will understand what it means to play in Sudan. Not just buying someone that played in the continent 3-5 years ago, and you're bringing them and you're expecting them to just come and do magic. Some of these players now, let's look at some of the players bought by Rivers United. Some of them have been in the league for like 7-6 years. 7-6 seasons. You understand? They have done all what they can. How many CAF Champions League have they won? That's a big question we should ask ourselves. It's not that they have won tournaments that you just bring in, they will just give you instant success. They cannot do that. Maybe they just have experience of playing 1 or 2 times in the continent. But bring in these players, groom your team, build the chunk of your team within what you have built over the years. That means you're not sure of your managerial abilities. If you cannot create a bunch of players that have played together for 3-5 years and they know themselves as a team, you send them out. I think the proposal what Rivers United and other teams representing Nigeria, they should be doing is sending proposal to the state government for proper pre-seasons and proper games with teams outside Nigeria. I think that is what they should be doing.
Meanwhile, Rivers United have taken the lead against Warri Wolves in their last group game. They're already through to the next round of the competition. They are 1-0 off. Of course, that goal coming in from Adebayo Agumbiade in the 18th minute of the encounter. So Rivers United on course to win 3 matches in 3 days.
All right. I don't know if that should be a record, but let me come to your side before we get to the phone lines and, of course, the text message portal. I think I've gotten the answers of the questions I wanted to ask them. But, Osas, in your own, maybe from your own view of what it should be here in Nigeria, what do you think we need to do? I know if we start to dig into the hole, it might get us to different places. But what do you think we need to do differently to change our fortunes on the continent? Now, the fight earlier was who will go to the CAF Champions League because some people already probably believe that if we get there, well, we'll not go to try. They'll beat us. But if they beat us from the moon, we'll land from the sun, we'll land, on the moon. So what do you think we need to do differently? Maybe the points or areas you think Nigeria as a country, our clubs, the perspective of the government and their managers will need to actually change to actually get us doing better on the continent.
I think it's simple. Begin to prepare early enough. When you prepare early, you put yourself in proper perspective and proper course to succeed. The fire brigade approach doesn't actually work for anywhere. It doesn't actually work. And we have, Nigerian clubs have come to be used to this fire brigade approach. When it's time for a competition, you begin to... We actually talked about it on the show here sometimes in the past, where we looked at... the MPFL clubs preparing for the continent, preparing for the league from the continent instead of the other way around. We need to begin to prepare early. When we talk about prepare early, properly, both the league management body, the scheduling of games, how the league runs, then down to the clubs, how they train, how they schedule their pre-season matches, how whatever they do to make sure that success is achieved should be done early enough. When we keep running against time, then failure is what we're working for.
All right, let's open the phone lines and get to hear from you. 0817 0000951, 0810 951 951. One big debate, a little bit here in the studio. Is it smart to probably just prepare your original team, plan well with your preseason, play other teams, outside the country, to act from Nigeria here now, to actually do well on the continent? Or, knowing the fact that you're going to play Al Ali, the other big teams now on the continent, is it smart to gather the best legs, the best players here in the MPF, at least a good number of them, to beef up your squad? 0817 0000951, 0810 951 951. For the text message portal is 0701 9339 962. And by the way,
Superman, Priye's suggestion is easier said
than done. Yes, I actually wanted to.
It's luxury for a lot of Nigerian teams. When was the last time a club from Nigeria traveled outside the shores of this country to play a match? That is not a CAF, inter-club competition, fixture. When was the last time that a club outside this country, from this country, traveled abroad to go and play a friendly match, call it a preseason tournament or whatever? When was the last time? It's very expensive to do so. Superman, you know what these teams now? Rivers United will be going to the continent. You know what they pass through to even secure funds from the government. To get the approval, eventually secure those funds, to buy tickets, to travel abroad to go play these matches. over time here, we have talked about the fact that even 3 years after playing on the continent, they haven't finished paying the extra cost of the players. The players are still complaining. They are still owing us bonuses of matches to play 3 years ago. It's difficult. Not to talk of to go do friendly matches abroad. That's what you get when football is not business oriented in the country. You understand? When football is under the sponsorship of government. Except for a governor that is so keen on football, like we saw the former governor of Abia State back then. You know what Enyimba did? The man took Enyimba to Italy to play Inter Milan. I mean, what more can you ask for? Took Enyimba to Italy to play Inter Milan. Yes, they were battered 6-0 or whatever, but come on, it was a bold statement, from the continent of Africa. You understand? That the club had to travel abroad. It didn't bring Inter Milan to Nigeria. Enyimba traveled from Nigeria to Italy to play Inter Milan. That was massive. The Inter Milan of Ronaldo da Lima, he's called, I think, not the current Inter Milan. Inter Milan with Ronaldo da Lima, great Inter Milan side of the early 2000s. You understand? So that was it, But here today, how many clubs can do that? It's very expensive to buy tickets for how many players? 18 players, 25 players, backroom staff, go abroad, stay for how many days? 5 days, pay hotel bills for them just for friendly matches.
but we can start small. We can actually move within West Africa.
It's still the same thing. You not travel by to West African country.
And moreover, when Priye was even talking, I wanted to speak to him. Your former governor once said something back then in Yenagoa that monkey they jump now because you never see gorilla where they jump for the same forest. Now, some of these MPFL sites, you cannot take it away from experience. You were talking about instead of going all out when you have qualified for a competition to buy these experienced hands or legs to do the business for you, instead of that, you invest the money in pre-season games abroad. Yes, it's good to play pre-season games, but you can't take it away from abroad or anywhere.
No, anywhere is not abroad. Anywhere includes here. He's saying abroad.
Abroad. West Africa could also be abroad. Fine. But you can't take it away from experience. These experienced players, they've done it before, they've been there.
They've done it before. Okay, how many times have you won the CAF Confederations Cup?
It's not about that. Now, sometimes even going to these competitions, how you comport yourself could also reflect on younger players when they go with you. Now, you heard what Austin talked about, the captain of Rivers United. He said having these players with experience
on the continent
in the team has already boosted the morale of players who have not been there before.
This is my issue with experience.
No, see, that your suggestion is dead on arrival, honestly, because it's very expensive to do what you suggested.
How much?
Very expensive.
How much are they paying these players? They're paying these players.
The money is not readily available.
Okay.
Some of these players can come now, sign contract with you. You say you agree that you pay them contract fee of maybe 5 million naira. You give them 2.5. The next 2.5 million, they might not even get it until they leave your club. You understand? That's how it works here. It's not like they have 100 million naira somewhere, as their budget for the season, and the governor has approved it. No, this money is coming piecemeal by piecemeal. It's not like something that is readily available that they can now go to and plan with plan with. No, it doesn't happen that way. And if you even want to even go to the extent of traveling abroad to do that, people will sit down and criticize you for that, because at the end of the day, they know that by the time you go back and come, return from the trip, go to the continent and get knocked out, then your head will be on the chopping board there, because it's tantamount to nothing at the end of the day. The reason we are looking at all these options is for us to have a good representation on the continent. So if you go spend those monies abroad,
now it's that
and come back.
Now the wage
get
bill,
knocked out from the continent.
The wage bill of
you
Rivers
would have
United
ended up spending taxpayers' money without achieving anything.
The wage bill of Rivers United, let's leave the contract and payments out of it. Now it will definitely increase if you bring in 15 players, and these players will earn, let's say, the minimum wage of
the big players,
800,000, 500, 600, maybe $1 million naira. Now you calculate you're paying these players for like 7-8 months, because most of them will even stay for just a year, for crying out loud. The next season you prepare again.
Well, basically, let's see. Basically, the problem is this: the reason the North Africans are doing well in the competition is because of so much quality at their disposal. You understand? So much quality in terms of playing personnel, in terms of coaching, in terms of infrastructure. Eguma told us on this radio station just a few weeks ago that They don't even, how many Nigerian clubs can boast of a gym of their own? They don't have their own training pitches. Where they play matches is where they train. They don't have. Just a handful of them can say, okay, we built this stadium, it's our own. Maybe only Ifayoba, maybe only Ifayoba right now in the MPFL built his own stadium. The other clubs, are government-owned clubs. The infrastructure doesn't belong to them. They don't bring in anything. They don't train the way they're supposed to train. They don't have the facilities. But that cannot be said of these clubs abroad. If you go to Tunisia, take for instance Etoile du Sahel or CS Sfaxien or even Esperance, you go to their training ground, you have up to 5 training pitches. You go to the academies, they are well structured, and they function as a business entity such that they make profit, and at the end of it, they can buy players from every part of the continent. Some of them even go outside Africa to bring players. You go to some of these North African leagues or even South Africa, you see players from Brazil. You go to TP Mazembe, you see players from South America come there to play. They can get the quality coaches. Genaro once coached Etoile du Sahel of Tunisia. Genaro, our coach, once coached Etoile du Sahel of Tunisia. They're a club, on the continent. So, but look at what is obtainable here. That's why we can't match up with them. It's not because we are not going for preseason abroad or whatever. Even if you go for preseason abroad, with the quality of players at your disposal, you cannot stand toe-to-toe with these guys there, Right. The Enyimba players today, yes, they are playing the CAF Champions League. Put them in the same group tomorrow with Alale, say for instance, Mamelodi Sundowns and TP Mazembe. They're out of the competition. There's no two ways about it. They will be knocked out because we have seen it over time. They struggle. They cannot repeat the achievement of 2003, 2004. It's not like they don't want to do that. They want to do it, but they don't have what it takes to do it. That's the honest truth. I'm an Enyimba fan. I was there when they won the Champions League in 2003 and 2004. But today, they are no longer competing at that level. The North Africans have moved on. The South Africans are moving on. The East Africans, TP Mazembe and Vita, they are moving on. The owner of TP Mazembe has got 2 private jets, one for himself, one for the club. They don't travel by business aircraft. They bought their chartered flight from their base to wherever they're going to on the continent. That is not the same with the African teams here, with the Nigerian teams here. You understand? Some of them will want to go to Morocco. They will first go to Turkey, outside Africa. Then they'll take then transit to Morocco or Egypt. It will take a journey of 6 hours. Will not take you like a day, because sometimes you sleep over and continue the journey the next day. So all these things affect our clubs here. They don't have what it takes, and until we get to that level, we cannot compete with those guys. They have moved on, So now look at the semi-finals of the Champions League and the Confederation Cup last season. It was virtually an all North African affair. You understand? And we can sit down here and suggest all these things. If you are not putting action into it, if you are not implementing anything, nothing will change. 4 of them will go there. By the time we will go to the quarterfinals, you will not see any of them again. It's the same story every other season. By the time maybe Enyimba will manage to get to the semi-finals of the CAF Confederation Cup, we will celebrate. They have achieved, they have tried well. That's just the level we are right now. We'll clap for them, and we will still remember what they did in 2003 and 2004.
But the issue is that we really need to ask some important questions. How are this team managed? We have seen other clients where government actually own clubs. I'm talking about outside Nigeria right now. And we know the finances of even these owners of this club in Nigeria. A typical example, Rivers State is not a broke state when it comes to finances. I think most times is the way you paint these pictures to the governor. The governor was very pleased the last time Rivers United qualified for the continent, came second. He had to even take them outside the country. Now, it depends on what you tell the governor the next season on your preparation, because at that particular point in time, you have got the attention of the governor. So it's about putting in the right proposal. That's my point here now. If they have the right proposal in front of the governor,
the governor has got 1,000,001 other things to do. No, other than Rivers United.
I was talking about the last time they were taking to Spain.
That is it. I understand. When
if you drop the right proposal in front of the governor, with good
even
success,
the governor himself can take it as a personal project.
It will work.
Like Ojo Kalu did between 1999 and 2007. Between that time, Enyimba won 5 league titles. 5 league titles in the space of 8 years. It was a project from the governor. He made it like it set a target for himself to win the CAF Champions League because no Nigerian club had won the Champions League in the past. We've had a couple of them play in the final. Heartland did so in 1988. Shooting Stars also did so, I think, a few times, twice. One was against Zamalek in 93 or so. But at the end of the day, we were not able to win the Champions League. And we were priding as Giant of Africa, the best African team and what have you. Population-wise, we are number one and all that. Good football culture, good football history. But when it comes to the Premier club competition in Africa, we couldn't hold sway. Ojo Kalu came in and made it a project. Ojo Kalu, at some point, was attending the training of Enyimba in Aba. He traveled from Umuahia to Aba to watch Enyimba's training. Although he grew up in Aba, a young man, has a house in Aba and all that. But, of course, being the governor, the base was in Umuahia. He moves down to Aba. He was a personal project. They're playing league matches, the governor is coming. They're playing continental games, the governor is coming. He remembered the infamous situation where the semi-finals of the CAF Champions League, I think it was against USM Algiers in Aba. The governor had to go and sit on the bench, with Kadri Kana. And, some were like, why is the governor doing all this? At the end of the day, it paid off. Imba won the Champions League. He put in the money. It was a project, refurbished the stadium, bought players. Emeka Nwana came in from Rangers for 1 million naira, the first Nigerian player to be bought for 1 million naira in 2000. At the end of the day, all those came together and resulted to victory. Success. That aside, we had Kadri Kana on the show some time ago here. He told us that Enyimba team prepared very well for the competition. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't just all about Ojo Kalu's money. It was about quality preparation. It was about quality recruitment as well. You saw the quality of players in the team then. From Enyimba, Enyama was a regular player in Super Eagles already. From Enyimba, first choice goalkeeper of Nigeria. Enyama, Vincent Enyama. Obi Nawani was playing regularly for the Super Eagles from Enyimba before he even went abroad.
Ugumbi, the right back. Ugumbi, the right back, the Benin Republic player, was even the regular in Benin Republic.
Ugumbi, the midfielder. He was a regular player for Benin Republic. You understand? But although he has a Nigerian descent, but of course he represented the Benin Republic then. But it's quality everywhere in that Enyimba team. But today is no longer the case. These governors are no longer willing to put that kind of investment in clubs to help them challenge for competition. And it's not something that happened immediately. When did Enyimba win the Champions League? 2003. When did Ojo Kalu come into power? 1999. At least it took 4 years, if not for anything,
to get to
that level. You understand? Right. So before then, they got close too, if you recall. So it's not something that will happen overnight. It's careful planning. It takes a whole lot of money to achieve that kind of success, and you have to also be patient as well. If you're not interested in that, then forget it. We are just going in there to make up the numbers. That's what we've been doing ever since.
All right. Talking about former governor of Abia State now, Ojo Kalu. We hear he wants to buy a 35% stake in Arsenal. And Vincent Enyama did come out on Twitter to say, why not invest that money in the league? Why not buy Enyimba? But the phone line's still open, by the way. 0817 0000 951 0810 951 951. For the text message portal is 0701 9339 962. On Twitter, we are Today FM 951. That is at Today FM 951. You can copy my handle at wisdom_OB. Emeka is here. His handle is at Dena. Emeka Priye is here. His handle is at Priye PZ. You can also copy Osas _ the demigod. But Osas, coming to you now. Yeah. When you heard that news, because the man actually came out to say, yes, I want to do what we did in Enyimba. Yeah. In Arsenal. And it drew lots of the attention of Nigerians, and one of those who was concerned is the man who was part and parcel of that team, Vincent Enyama. Yeah. I mean, Emeka just mentioned the fact that he was already a Super Eagles goalkeeper as an Enyimba player. Yes. So, but I'll get your thoughts. Let's see if we can take this call. Today's Sports Live. Good evening. Hello.
Hello. Good evening, Victor.
Good evening. This is Wisdom.
Okay, Wisdom, good evening.
Good evening, welcome. Your name and where you're calling us from?
My name is Kingsley. I'm calling from Rumokoro.
Kingsley, let's hear you.
The one of Paul, I hear you.
I greet you.
I don't know what is wrong with this our big men here. They too like something where they are abroad. Everything abroad. Look at you, former governor. You are from Abia State, and you know that Enyimba is a very strong team before. Now they are no longer strong like before, and you want to lay a stake in Arsenal. Why not invest that money in Enyimba? Buy Enyimba if you want to buy Enyimba, and let them replicate what they have been doing 2003, 2004. They like something abroad. They do like something abroad. I don't know.
My friend from Remo, you cannot buy what is not for sale.
Yes, you can't.
Enyimba is not for sale. You understand? Abia State government have never told us that they want to sell Enyimba.
But Emeka, on that particular topic now, if he says he wants to buy,
he's a businessman. I mean, he wants to invest wherever he wants to invest.
Today's first time. Good afternoon. Good evening to you.
Yes, good afternoon. I get the studio.
We greet you. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Shadrach Amadi is my name.
Shadrach, welcome. Let's hear you.
Yes, I agree with Yama. You know, let's just use this money to republish Enyimba so that the team will strong. Not going to abroad to get all these things. Let us do our own first now. We put our own house in order so that tomorrow they will drop a legacy so that when anybody that comes from that Enyimba is going somewhere. Not to go to Toronto, but everything wants to go to work. How do we do our keep our own in order? You know, if he buys the share, buy Enyimba, at least it's something. Not to go to overseas and go to buy Arsenal. So that's my own. I agree with Yama that they use money and republish Enyimba. That is my own.
All right. Thank you so much, Shadrach Amadi, for your thoughts. But before I come to the guys in the building, let me just reel out the thoughts of Odjus Okalo on that particular one. He said, our success with Enyimba Football Club between 2000 and 2007 has continuously increased my passion for football. As the pillar of sports in Africa, I am considering an investment in football, and I'll buy 35% stake in Arsenal FC. Our target is to lift the Champions League and Premier League back to back, as we did with Enyimba, Kalu wrote in a Facebook post on the 16th of December. November. Then Ayama now replied on Twitter, why not invest? Because that money, as that 35% stake, will result in about $795.4 million. Ayama now replied, why not invest that money in Enyimba and turn it into a mega club? A club that will bring in lots of sponsors and create job opportunities for the youth. Ayama countered on Twitter. Emeka, your thoughts quickly. The phone lines are buzzing.
Well, I am completely with Odjus Okalo on this one, honestly. You know,
you want him to?
No, he's free to invest
anywhere.
He's free to invest anywhere he wants to invest. His money. You know, Enyama will not tell Odjus Okalo where to invest. You know, if you consider his affinity with Enyimba, Odjus Okalo is from Iberi in Abia State. He used to be a governor, now he's senator and all that. It was in his reign as governor of Abia State that Enyimba achieved the most success, that the club
the most successful thing.
Yes, exactly. So, the man has done his bit. First things first, Enyimba is not up for sale. The Abia State government has not declared that whoever wants to buy Enyimba should come and make such offer and what have you. No, Enyimba is not up for sale.
But if he tries, would they not say?
I don't know about that. But that being said, how viable is it going to be economically to buy Enyimba, to invest that kind of money in Enyimba? What are the chances of even reaping any benefit at the end of the day going forward? Look at the scenario here in Nigeria. The gate fee to watch an Enyimba match, 200 naira, maybe at most 300 naira for the popular stand. Today, fans are not even allowed to watch matches at the moment. Look at the system. The LMC, so much inconsistency. The league ends today, don't know when to start again. They are going to court tomorrow. They are going to court the next day. The league is, ended halfway and what have you, abruptly. There is so much inconsistency in our league. There is not even on television, as a matter of fact, to speak right now. The league is not on television. We don't have any broadcaster that will give us the league on terrestrial television. So, it's not viable to invest such a huge amount, on a project like Enyimba. I would love such investment to come at some point, but, at the moment, if I'm a businessman, if I have that kind of money, I will go and invest it abroad because, I stand a very big chance of making huge profit right there. The kind of money, you make over there. If you translate it to Naira here, you are made for life a lot of times. So at the end of the day, it's not just Okalo's money. And, if he can get 35% stake in Arsenal, it's
Which is
equally
a very
massive.
profitable size.
Now, it means he has a say in the Arsenal, boardroom.
Mm.
Meaning that
With Stan
even,
Kroenke.
yes, even with his presence, his influence there, players from Nigeria here can even move to Arsenal. When was the last time a Nigerian played for Arsenal? We've seen Kanu Nwankwo in the past. These days, we see Nigerian players with Nigerian descent. Players can move from here to Arsenal. He can even draw Arsenal to come and partner with, bring Arsenal to Nigeria to partner with some clubs in Nigeria, like we saw West Ham did with FC Fanyoba, and which other club? I think that was not a club now. No, the sports gear company Puma, also with ABS FC and what have you. You can bring Arsenal to partner with some Nigerian clubs and all that. But for investment, I will go with Ojo Carlo investing his money over there in Arsenal, because it won't be smart business doing so here in Nigeria. I have the feeling that, in fact, not just the feeling. I think when he was even governor, he tried to buy over the club, but the government will not let that happen. When he was about leaving the office. He tried to buy over the club, because if Ojo Carlo managed the Enyimba we have today, invest money into the club will do better than they're doing right now, especially going by what they achieved in the past. Now, we saw what this Enyimba side achieved in the past. 2003, 2004 was the height of it, winning the CAF Champions League.
Yeah.
They didn't really leverage on the glory they were able to Ghana, then at the end of the day, it's as if they never won anything as we speak right now. We are still looking at Enyimba as just a regular club in the local scene here. No, that is not where Enyimba is supposed to be. TP Mazembe won 2 CAF Champions League titles. As at the time Enyimba won 2. TP Mazembe won theirs in the 60s. Enyimba won 2 in 2003 and 2004. So after 2004, Enyimba was equal with TP Mazembe. But today they've added 2 more or 3 more, CAF Champions League titles. They have also grown in leaps and bounds. You talk about top 10 clubs on the continent. TP Mazembe will be there. I have the ranking already here for us at early November. You see that TP Mazembe is there. Enyimba is even 13th on the club rankings on the continent. TP Mazembe should be among the top 7 on the continent. There's no season you go to CAF Champions League that you not see TP Mazembe making it to the group stage, making it to the quarterfinals or the semi-finals, or even winning it as it were. So that is where Enyimba is supposed to be ordinarily. But it is no fault of Ojo Carlo. The man has his money. He wants to invest in Arsenal. Let him go there. After all, Arsenal have not won the UEFA Champions League before. So the Arsenal fans will be happy that they eventually win the Champions League back to back, like Enyimba did in 2003 and 2004.
Who thinks he should not invest in Arsenal?
First of all, I think the man is he has his own personal money. You don't have to tell him how he will invest his funds. Privately, as a businessman, he's a successful businessman for even going into politics. Let's leave that aside with the whole issues he had after he left office. But let's leave that aside. I think it's about him investing with what is viable and profitable. Look at the TV rights in the English Premier League and in Spanish La Liga. You know how much this team make. They make good money. And you ask yourself, if you look at the Nigerian League, we are not even sure if it will be on TV for the next 3-4 seasons. And there's a COVID-19 in Europe, but teams are still making money. They're still signing players because of the way they are actually focused the brand. Football is a brand. Teams are brand. They partner with a whole lot. Like a typical example, you see the team like Chelsea. They have more than 6-7 sponsors. 3. Nobody knew anything about the UK 3 before they started sponsoring Chelsea. But right now they're actually a global brand, global communication brand, just because the affiliation with Chelsea. That's how big the club is right now. So it's a bad business when you invest in a club when you're not sure when the league will start in the first place. You don't have any money you make outside maybe your own personal money coming out from your pocket. Look at Ifan Yuba. When he started, he brought in players from outside the country. He brought in players from Brazil at a point in time. He spent money in getting players. Alpha. They are not even paying players. Players are struggling to get their basic salary. It's that bad. So you cannot tell someone, a businessman that made money outside football, and you want him to invest in football to waste money, to waste funds, do it as charity. No, it's beyond charity now. It's about him investing somewhere that he's going to make profits from. But me, as a Premier League lover, is Arsenal the right business? That's a big huge question. Profit-wise, definitely.
Profit-wise, Arsenal is very profitable to the stakeholders.
The man has actually stated what he wants. Yes. He said he wants Arsenal to win the Champions League back-to-back. And the record from his own side, he's very good at making teams win Champions League back-to-back.
Yeah,
so Arsenal is just the team to do the back-to-back.
Wrecking numbers, brilliant one. Arsenal definitely will make him make money. But winning the Champions League with Arsenal, that would be a very big and tall order for him, because I think it will be difficult for him.
Talking about the Premier League, Danny Welbeck did give Brighton the lead. It's halftime between Aston Villa. Okay, second half just starting between Aston Villa and Brighton. It's 1-0 in favour of the away side, Brighton in Spain. One game between Real Madrid and Villarreal. It's Real Madrid who are leading. That game came in the second minute, very early on, really. Mariano Diaz, who led the lines today. That's the attack as the top 9 now. You want to put it that way. He's the man who got the goal for a much changed Real Madrid side up against Carlos Bacca and his Villarreal side. No Samuel Chukwueze in the starting lineup, but he's on the bench, by the way. In Germany, it's Arminia Bielefeld who are playing at 100 Bayer Leverkusen. Bayern Munich have equalized. They were losing at some point against Werder Bremen. They have equalized against Werder Bremen. Goal coming in from Kingsley Coman in the 62nd minute. We're now into the 67th minute of that encounter. Borussia Mönchengladbach are leading Augsburg 1-0. Hoffenheim are also leading VfB Stuttgart. They were losing at some point 2-1 in that game. Akpoguma irregular in central defense right there, and they are now leading 3-2. Quick goals from Ryan Sessegnon and Andrzej Kramaric getting them up in that one. Schalke 04 are losing to Wolfsburg. It's 2-0 in favour of the away side. In Italy, Crotone have been beaten by Lazio. Ciro Immobile getting a goal and an assist. They did beat Crotone at home 2-0. And in France, just one game, Saint-Etienne are playing at a goalless draw with Brest. 0817 0000951 08109510 Today's Sports Live. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Ivan de la Peña from Bukboko.
All right, welcome. Let's hear you.
Let me first of all make one point clear. Football itself is not just all about money. Do you remember Anzi Machachkala, one club like that?
In Russia. They paid it to lots of money those days.
They bought so many players, even including Roberto Carlos of Brazil. You know, and they ended up wasting so much money on players. And at the end of the day, that same season, they went into relegation. Same season, I think so, or the next season, they went to relegation. As I'm talking to you, Anzi is going to be found
in Russian football. Yes,
they are not even in the second tier of Russian football as I'm talking to you. So football is not just all about money. You understand? If Ojus or Carlo does not have the right people to put in place in terms of management and all that, the same thing will happen to his money and his club. That's one thing.
Right.
Secondly, Eimba, if he invests his money in Eimba, don't you think it will be best for the Nigerian youths? We are talking about youth empowerment. It will be best for people. We know they are.
No, it's basically about business, not youth empowerment. It's business. Football is business.
No.
Not about empowerment. Yes.
Football, yes. In time to come, he will still make that money.
No, it's not viable for in Nigeria. Yeah, it's not. For now, the atmosphere doesn't really support it.
You're not talking about for now. We are talking about investment in the future. Investment in the future. It's going to take time. It's going to take time. That's the most important fact. But you have to bring in all these things, put them in place, then integrate boys into there. You will see what will happen.
All right, De La Peña. Thank you so much for your thoughts. And
Superman, if you talk of investment in Nigerian football, we have seen Abiola put so much money in club football in this country. You understand? The Abiola Babes. We have seen Iwanya. Yes, Iwanya. You know, Chief Emmanuel Iwanya, one-time presidential aspirant.
Yeah,
but over Spartans, Iwanya National. They did well on the continent. Did well domestically. But at the end of the day, it wasn't enough. They had to even hand over to the government again.
All right.
Private investment has not really worked out well. Here because the structure is not there.
All right, back to the phone lines. We can hear you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello?
We can hear you. Hello?
What I'm saying is, are you... good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
We can hear you. Your name and where you're calling us from.
Okay, I'm calling from...
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I'm talking about Ojus Okali investing 700 and something million naira to Arsenal.
Dollars.
Okay, dollars. Remember, as Ojus Okali is a businessman, and for him to invest in Nigeria, he can't read that kind of money. And if you put that kind of money in Nigeria, in Nigerian system, today we are in, tomorrow we are out. So it can't be well. So you better go to Arsenal. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. Today we are in, tomorrow we are out. Okay. We lost that one.
And Superman, the kind of money Ojos is going to invest in Arsenal, it doesn't need to invest quarter of it in Enyimba to make Enyimba a big brand, from the African standard.
$2 million to do the magic.
I'm thinking that if you want to buy Enyimba now, you're not buying Enyimba for more than $5 million. You can't.
No.
That's true. Enyimba is not worth 1 billion naira. You understand?
But change is coming. Van Dres FC are doing a fine job. I think they even got one bans, white guy for foreign. And I'm a foreigner now. For their sporting director and whatever. Maybe we can start like them, Emeka. Even if I know in terms of profit, I might not be. Maybe he can decide after he buys that 35%. He can now do charity of maybe $2-3 million. But the phone line still open 0817 0000951 0810 We've talked about Rivers United and their preparations for the continent. We've also talked about Ojus Okalu wanting to buy a 35% stake. Doesn't want to buy over Arsenal. A 35% stake in Arsenal. Today's Sports Style. Good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, Manu Chimso. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Emeka. Good evening.
Good evening, bro.
If I want to buy Arsenal, make him buy because that man is the killer of sports. We love him and we like him. If you can remember, one of Ojus is the coach of Enyimba.
Coach, not coach of Enyimba. Governor of Abia State.
Governor of Abia State.
Yes, the governor of Abia State. I'm telling you, he make Abia proud. Many players did no more than OGB, Obonio, Kemenecha, the one is Sergeant Act, all of them that to that time, and they win CAF Champions League, win it again, win the league, win FA Cup during the time of Atanda Sikebo from Rivers United, come to Abia State, Enyimba. So what I'm telling you is this: OG cannot make it here in Nigeria, and the government of the day here cannot allow him to buy this. So if he wants to buy Arsenal, let him go there. We support him, and we will support him.
All right, man.
Well,
thank you so much for your thoughts.
Vincent Enyama has made so much money in football. If he thinks it is a wise decision to invest in Enyimba, he's an Enyimba legend. Let him come and invest in Enyimba. Let's see. You understand? Let him do that. Let him show Ozokal how to do it. You understand? I'm sure he has the kind of money to want to buy Enyimba. Enyama has done. He's that rich, I guess. And at the end of the day, he should lead by example.
Even not buying totally, just buy 30
or go to Akwa Ibom State and buy over Akwa United and turn it into a world brand. Let's see how it will work.
But like they've said, maybe for the future, for the sake of Nigeria, Mecca, why not?
Let Enyama do it now. Let him do it.
We're talking about here. Yeah? This is business we're talking about. I believe Oji indicating an interest to buy Arsenal. Do you know what it is if he gets these shares in Arsenal and you export players from the academy outside, whatever you get, the percentage that goes to him? He's looking at the business angle. We're not looking at that here now. He did his wonders while at Enyimba as the governor.
All right, let's get to the phone line. Today Sports Live, good evening.
Superman.
Lawson, greet you. Welcome.
Yes, I greet the sports crew. Superman, seriously, are we really discussing this? I mean, this enough money. Would you want to invest in any of these clubs? Really? You know, just as the maker said, this our league here is not structured at all to make profit. There's no profit. Look at Ifeanyi Ubah. Are you not feeling for him? Look at the amount of money he has invested. How much has he made? How much has he realized from this year? Huge investment.
There is no way anybody will tell him. I don't know. Maybe Vincent Yama, where is he? Is he abroad or is he in Nigeria?
He's in France now.
He's a coach of a 10th division club in France.
No wonder. That's why he's now beginning to. He has forgotten. He now thinks that anything can come out of here. There's no way he will bring. A man is talking about real business, serious business where he will make profit, and you are telling him to come to Eyimba to make what? There is no way anybody can. All the businessmen that have invested in our club side here, how many of them have succeeded? Nobody, because there is no money except maybe you want to do charity, because here football is PR. You understand? That's what it is. So let us not even argue about this. There is no way it will come at all. And Rivers United, I don't know what preparation. With Superman, you are saying if they get to semi-final, CAF Confederation Cup, and that will be okay for us.
They will celebrate, though. They will celebrate. I'm not. Is the best they would have gotten as Rivers United.
Fine, given your experience and everything, don't you think that would be celebrating mediocrity?
by my standard, By their standard.
It might not be
Nigerian standard. I mean, that's a massive achievement, too.
It's not like Ajax getting to the finals of the Champions League. That's an achievement for them.
In CAF, way to CAF champion. This thing is what we are talking. I'm not talking about CAF Champions League. Confederation Cup.
They've not gotten there before. Rivers United have not gotten there before as Rivers United.
Do you know the amount of investment, the money that has been put into that Rivers United? So all these money that they are spending is to just go and get to semi-finals and come back home.
See, that is let them even make the group stages. You are talking of semi-finals. Let them even make the group stages of the competition first.
Well, I don't know. We have always been like that. I've always seen these things that we can't compete. We can't even go far in anything. So we cannot celebrate. We should be talking about winning it. The CAF Confederation Cup is for me, as far as I'm concerned, it's supposed to be for second string side in Africa. And then here we are saying that if we get to semi-finals, we'll celebrate it. I don't know, Sha, but for me, I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, that will be celebrating
mediocrity.
That's just what it is.
All right, Lawson, thank you so much for your thoughts. Well,
Superman, you remember this Otsakalu case now? I mean, it's not the first Nigerian even indicating
Dangote. Yes.
They are Africa's richest man.
And all of them are thinking of
Arsenal too. You understand?
Because Arsenal is
I remember
profitable.
then too. It was also the same outcry. Why don't invest this money in Nigeria? No, I won't invest in Nigeria. It's not viable. I will not make the kind of profit I will make when I put it over there in Arsenal at the end of the day. Things don't work well here in Nigeria. Sorry to say it. No, we want the best for our country, but apparently those running the league, the clubs themselves, generally as a society, we are not well structured as far as our football is concerned. To make profit. No, we don't do that. Okay. That is not the way to go about it. I cannot invest my money in Rivers United. On a match day, I have less than 200 people to come and watch the match. No! And those 200 people, 50 did not even pay get fee.
Then if you
how much is even the get fee? 200 naira. Yeah? 200 naira. No, that is not good investment, my brother. I mean, you know how much these clubs make from get takings. That's why this COVID-19 affected the finances of
clubs.
All the clubs. Because the monies they make from get takings alone is enough to even run the club. Not to talk of what they get from the sponsors, the share deals, and what have you. But here, how many clubs? 20 clubs in the MPFL. Only one of them have a share deal. Rivers United. Is that the kind of league you want me to come and invest my money? Why the investors are not willing to come and put their money? No way. I buy a stake now in Eyimba, and at the end of the day, I run at loss after 5 years of investment. No, that is not good business. Okay. No, I won't do that because I want to empower people. No, it's not about empowerment.
It's not empowerment. My money is not for empowerment.
A businessman is not looking at how to empower his boys. What he's looking at is his bank account.
But Emeka, don't you think they should tow the part of the man who owns a club in Portugal now?
Okay, how many of you have criticized him?
And maybe just
the Remo Stars.
Their own Remo Stars.
Yes, he has a club in Portugal, CD Farense.
And own one here in Nigeria. Emeka, don't you think that would be smart? Not just owning Arsenal. Well, we have we have Cyril Domwite joining us here in the building. Cyril, good evening to you.
Good evening, and how are you today?
I'm fine. I'm sure you've been following the conversations, and you want to give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually tuned in, and it's interesting. Like Emeka said, league here in Nigeria is not structured to make profit. Those who invest their money do not have any foresight to say, okay, how much am I going to invest? How much will I get at the end of the day? Someone talked about Ifeanyi Ubah, which is a big spender in the league. And for me, I feel very bothered because we might just leave it as the league is not viable. But who is supposed to make the league viable? Can you imagine what it would take if out of the 20 club sides we have in the league, or let about half of them pull out of the league because the league is not viable? Or even more than half. Then and only then will somebody like Shehu Diko and his board sit down to think of how to structure the league to make it viable. The club sides themselves will not make it viable. The government will not make it viable. Shehu Diko and the past leaders of the league, the party of late memory, of blessed memory, all had a vision on sort of making money from making the club side make money. But every time they step into the office, we get back to the government mentality. Year after year, we'll play and government will talk about Rivers United. From the days of Sharks to Dolphins, I can tell you billions of taxpayers' money has been spent without commensurate results. It is done for political reasons, and that's the thing. So I think it's like also do something radical to make the league management company, which is not government now, league management company, then what? League management company, to sit down to say, how do we attract club sides into the league? I've never had any member of the league management company, Shehu Diko by session, ask, how we have attracted 2 club sides or 3 club sides. We've attracted big players into the league. No, they're just talking of how to draw fixtures and how to make referees not look partial and all of that. This is not the issue. If you want to make money from a league, if you want to get the OGUs or Kalu and the rest of them to put their money into the league, then you have to structure it. Whose responsibility is that? The league management company and not the Ministry of Sports. We must get this thing very clear. And until, like I said, the club sides themselves, that the businessmen who invest, because if there were no business in the first place, apart from furthering his political ambition of stepping into the league, and when he got to a stage, you can see that he didn't go. Before, everybody wants to go to play for his club side. But now, he has not achieved his purpose, in my own estimation, and he has pulled back. The same thing has happened to others who had put their money. As for government, the day the taxpayers will ask for how they spend their money, maybe they will say, okay, well, we are not going to put more in football because it doesn't return anything. So I think our emphasis should be on the league management company and try to ask them to do their job and not just waiting for guarantees from club sides and maybe some government funding as well. And of course, a lot of what I would call misappropriated funds from the sponsors of the league. This is the issue, and that for me is the problem why the league is not viable. And like you are beginning to ask questions now, the youth ask their questions. Football and your sports stakeholders must begin to ask questions as well. We're talking about football. In other areas of sports, they are very viable. In handball, basketball. Right now, we are beginning to see how Nigerians are getting to the NBA. And we ask ourselves, okay, they get to the NBA. How did they come about? Who brought them to the stage where they are recognized globally or at the biggest stage? These are the issues we must charge our administrators. For me, the problem of sports has to do more with administration and not a Shylock and, of course, very selfish administrators. Today we'll get it right. We might just see that our population is big enough. Growing up as a kid in the 80s, and the 70s, I used to go to the temporary jail in Port Harcourt. And I can tell you one thing. With the presence of police dogs and mobile policemen still flogging you, you still enjoy paying and still ensure that you drive. Even with your ticket, you pay, but they are still beating you because of the number of people that are searching for what to enter into the stadium.
Exactly.
That have died now. I don't even bother going to the stadium because it's not worth it. So a lot of other people don't. that direction, we might just be wasting taxpayers' money because that's what the governors of all the states are doing. For political reasons, they just give their hands to government coffers and say, okay, we are sponsoring this club time. And that's the end of the day. They don't think of whether the money is coming back or it's not coming back, especially